The Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC looks like it's more than just DLC. We want to look at some of the first response as well as some of the information about this expansion and really just look at this is not just a simple DLC. This is not just a basic content ad. If you've been looking at to getting this, it looks like a massive update. I don't want to hype it beyond what the devs intended to be, but I've noticed in the blogs, the trailers, the gameplay, the latest footage, even in response from the community, this is shaping up to be a big update for Horizon Forbidden West. Now, I put all the good information right here at the beginning of the video, so you don't have to go looking for it. Make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss out on my live shows. As Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC lands, I have to say, it looks more than just a DLC. It looks like it's shaping up to be bigger than that. Significant upgrades, quality of life, ads, and things that have been polished seem to be baked into the extra content. I want to break this down into 4 categories. Number 1, the combat. Then 2, the weapons. 3, I want to look at the graphics. And then lastly, are they hinting at maybe co-op or multiplayer in the future? Probably a long shot, but I want to entertain the idea. So let's first talk about combat. Now, I've always thought that the combat in Horizon Forbidden West was not that great. Like, I thought Horizon Zero Dawn was good, but I did want elements of Forbidden West to be better. I thought the melee could be improved. I thought there were elements of the combat that was a little bit frustrated. Now, in my recent observations of Sony versus Xbox debates on Twitter, I found it sort of entertaining that people think this game is similar to Ghost of Tsushima. They think because she has a bow that she's basically the same as Jin, which is a little interesting. So I wanted to point out some of the things about the weapons and things that she has at her disposal that is not at all like other games on the PlayStation, right? Some of the most unique combat that you can experience, I believe, is in Horizon Forbidden West. It's bow-based, but it's mostly about range, positioning, capitalizing on weaknesses, using a lot of the different weaponry. And while the melee combat got a nice upgrade in Horizon Forbidden West, I did want to see more. And the latest footage on Twitter and showcases and even some of the gameplay that you can see right now on YouTube, it seems as though melee abilities are going to really help add to your combat cycles. It looks as if they're going to let Aloy do at least 3 new big thematic things with melee. Now, if this stuff's already in the game or was already in the game, you know, bear with me or forgive me. I've not played it for about a year. I beat the game. I dabbled in New Game Plus, but I got too busy and couldn't do anything with it. And I did love it. I had high praise for the game. I did have some criticism about combat, and I would have loved to be more completionist with the game. I would have loved to clear the map, but I'm just too busy. I'm still slowly picking at the map in Ghost of Tsushima. So 3 things that I noticed on the Twitter video, one of the first videos they put out. 1, the enemy will be able to be contained a little bit more. You'll be able to sort of tie them down. I did feel like the combat got a little bit spammy and a little bit stun-lockish in the vanilla version of Horizon Forbidden West. The second thing is using the polecaster to get sort of to the enemies and attack them. That's sort of a new thing that they've been showing off in the footage up to now. As far as I know, I checked tutorials. The polecaster did not let you do this in the vanilla version of Horizon Forbidden West. It was more for climbing and grabbing on to structures. The third big melee is like this flourish sort of finisher. This may be under a new skill tree. I checked the skill tree this morning. I went into the game. I didn't see anything. So maybe this is something that we learn along the way. It's sort of like the critical strike that you already do turned into sort of a cinematic kind of quick time moment. In general, it seemed to me like they wanted to upgrade combat with more punctuated moments of big damage, and I really like that. If harnessed properly, it could help with some of the things that I disliked about the combat. I would like to see them change, the animation, for example, when you do like your ultimate. It's cool to see her put like face paint on, but the enemies are all still moving while you do this, and it led to me not really using it as often because it felt really inopportune. It was like, oh, I need to shield myself, or oh, I need more damage right now, and I would do the animation, and then all the enemies would be like on top top of me because they're like moving around while I'm, putting face paint on. And so I stopped using some of the ultimates. I found it to just be pretty irritating. Anything that helps with damage and crowd control, I'm here for. I felt that they don't make you lay on the ground as often or as long. I played last night just to kind of brush up on the combat. I hadn't touched the game in a while, and I didn't want to be bumbling around in my gameplay today. So, I practiced, and I did notice I didn't feel like I was getting stun locked as much because I didn't lay on the ground as long. I beat the entire game before they made that update. It was one of my primary complaints. I said, it's like she's taking a nap. Like, get off the ground, Aloy. If you got hit by anything that sort of knocked you down, you just kind of laid there, and they did acknowledge that and make that change. I still think some of the enemies are a little spammy. I still think some of the enemies didn't really need spammy range attacks. You could have kept some enemies without those abilities, but that was a choice that they made. Maybe they felt like it was too easy just to sit back and pick with arrows, even though that's kind of one of the elements of the combat, but I'm hoping that maybe that could be changed and made better in this DLC. Now, the other thing that we're noticing in the footage up to now is weapons. The Zeniths show up, and if my memory is correct, I believe that it is. I went and I looked at a lot of the old footage. They have all these different abilities, weaponry, and defensive things, and it's like these pieces and stuff that like shapes and covers them, and it looks as though that's going to be something you're going to be able to use in this DLC. It led to what I felt like was a pretty annoying final boss fight, pretty anticlimactic. That was another one of my criticisms of Horizon Forbidden West. I did not feel like the end boss was enjoyable. But again, there's room for disagreement there. Regardless of my thoughts on that, it seems that Aloy will be harnessing the Zenith tech in the latest trailer. At the very end, she's got like something swirling around her hand, and it seems like it's going to be some kind of gun or ranged weapon, and she sort of aims it at this big, huge, giant boss that comes up out of the ground or the water. I'm fairly certain this giant boss that climbs up at the end of the trailer is something they referred to in the PlayStation 4 blog about Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores. Quote, another notable thing that they were able to do, because they're now only PS5, is a particular battle scene that requires a lot of memory and processing power. Yeah, there's that pesky memory again. You need a lot of memory to do this kind of stuff. To achieve this grand vision, both technically and creatively, we definitely were thankful for the many advantages that the PS5 hardware brings. So I think two things are going on here. First, I think the boss fight was so big they could not run it on the PS4. Yes, this is awesome news. That does mean aspects of the game were held back by being cross-generationally supported. I still stand by my original assessment that a pure PS5 only Horizon Forbidden West probably would not have been out right now. We would have been waiting a lot longer. So the actual game we got wasn't held back, even though technically it was. If you look at certain aspects, there were things they couldn't do, but that also means you would have waited a lot longer for the game if they would have just purely left behind the PS4. I think they made the right decision, given how many PS4s are in circulation and how popular the title was. It made sense to let all those folks who couldn't get their hands on a PS5 enjoy this game. And as far as we can tell, the graphics and this update and this DLC, the game has not been held back in any way at this point. I don't know if they have other plans. I don't know if they have things that they're going to want to do beyond this, but I'm really excited for what we're seeing so far, right? The second thing that seems to be happening with this boss fight that kind of comes up at the end is it seems that we will be using the upgraded Zenith weaponry for that fight, or maybe even new fights, new enemies in general. Maybe we'll need to use the weaponry because of weaknesses. I remember the DLC that came out for Horizon Zero Dawn. It was the Frozen Wilds, I think, or something like that. I can't remember the name, but they had new weaponry, and the new weaponry was cool, but you didn't have to use it, so you could largely ignore the new weaponry because all of the enemies were still very susceptible to all of your really awesome stuff. That's always going to be a bit of a challenge when you're decked out at the sort of end of the game. You have tons of weapons, you have them leveled up, and now all of a sudden you're in a DLC and there's new stuff that hasn't been leveled up or invested in. So I'm curious to see if they're going to create those sort of latent weaknesses to sort of push you to use the Zenith weapons, we'll obviously dive in and check that out. Beyond the bigger fights, I definitely feel like there have been graphical updates. So far, nothing has been confirmed, but I do want to make some observations as well as reference some articles I'm already seeing this morning, as well as feedback from the community. I booted up the game pre-patch. I just wanted to make sure everything was ready because I had been playing New Game Plus, so I had to go back to my original sort of end game, non-New Game Plus, just beat the final mission save. I don't really care about my New Game Plus save. I had done virtually nothing. So I wanted to go and look at the game, because I said, you know, I want to see if this is true, if they're actually doing some kind of a graphical update. And make sure you finish the final campaign mission. It's called Singularity before you try to jump into this, or you won't be able to. The initial footage that showed up on Twitter, it looked like the graphics had been cranked up a bit. It seemed like draw distance had been significantly increased, like you could see a lot farther. So I'm like, well, let me boot up the game and let me make some comparisons, because I thought if they did that, I want to be able to sort of have the game pre-patch in my mind. And I will say this, I will say there were significant uses of fog and like clouds to sort of rein in the draw distance on the game when I went to do sort of, you know, the original pre-patch version. And we're also hearing from people that there have been significant upgrades to the water and to the graphics and the lighting. Now, the community is saying this, but we do not have any official word from Guerrilla about what they did. Maybe they are waiting. Maybe they're going to push out some kind of an update or a blog post to say, hey, we noticed you guys noticed some of the graphical uptick. We're going to give you the specifics on what exactly we did. There seems to just be more of a sharpness, more of a brightness to the game, an overall like clarity, and it's like crispier, I guess. This is one of, I think, the most beautiful games you can play right now within the next generation that we're in. I really do think it's stunning. I know lots of people are going to claim that's because like I'm a huge Sony fan. I actually have always loved games like this. I just am pleased that we have actual next-gen graphics to display and show off, just to get an idea of like what big open-world games could be, because I love open-world action-adventure games. Now, some will say that the gameplay has a disclaimer at the bottom, and it says, oh, it's captured on PS5, so everything we're seeing, you know, has been maybe juiced up and ramped up. But I've been showing you footage this morning from MK Ice and Fire, just some of their basic footage. I didn't want to get into any spoilers. I just wanted people to kind of see, and even in their gameplay, it does seem like things have been cranked up a bit. So I would say they didn't do any post-processing. They didn't do any like post-rendering in those early footages that they were throwing out on Twitter and stuff. I don't think they did that. I think that was genuine footage. I think we were right to see, man, something seems cranked up, because even now the community is saying it seems cranked up. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is possible co-op hints, right? And I know this is wishful thinking, but just let me have some wishful thinking, okay? Because I love playing co-op games with my wife. We bought 2 PS5s so we could play Returnal. Returnal's a little stressful to relax with on the couch in the evenings because, you know, we beat the first biome, but then you got to kind of keep going, and it can be pretty stressful, and you can't save co-op runs, which kind of ruins what we were hoping to do with that game. We can't, like, get to a biome and save it and come back later. So I've been hoping for a game like Horizon. I would even love to see, like, Immortals Phoenix Rising. I thought it would have been such a fun game for co-op, and it seems as though in this game they've built sort of an Aloy twin. Now, I've already seen the screenshots. I'm not going to get into spoilers. They definitely become friends, but maybe she's playable. Maybe it's a playable co-op companion, similar to how they've done with games like Far Cry. They introduce a character, somebody can kind of do like ride-along co-op, so you can play the world together. Now, I highly doubt this is going to lead to co-op in the game, even though you have to keep something in mind. They are building a Horizon multiplayer game, so maybe they've figured out how to bring it to this game in some way. Maybe they figured out how to do online co-op. I would absolutely love to play this game with my wife. I'm dying for some open world RPG gameplay, and I think this game's combat would be perfect for splitting aggro. Splitting aggro is when all of the enemy's attention is sort of coded and designed to look for you, because you're one person, and if you're here and your partner's all the way over here, you're kind of splitting the aggro, and the enemy doesn't know who to look at. But given that a lot of the times there's NPCs or other people in the area, and the enemies are accustomed to responding to them and you simultaneously, I think this could work. I also think the size of the fights and the size of the robots would be great for co-op gameplay, because you could really spread out and have a lot of fun with traps and the different weaknesses and the different elements. I think this game could be just amazingly suited for co-op. Now, the most likely outcome is just a companion for a few missions, but, you know, one can dream. With the Frozen Wilds DLC landing around 9 gig, and Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores is landing around 17 gig, I'm really hoping for some decent length and maybe some significant adds to the game, more than just, you know, some story. I always love playing these games. I always love revisiting them, and I like the world. I'm excited to see sort of Lance Riddick's last game, debut. Rest in peace. We're obviously going to miss him in video games, and he got to get his work done, so he gets to be in this all the way to the end, it seems. We'll see what they decide to do with his character long term, because it will be sad. Hopefully they can sort of canonize him in the game in some way. I think that'd be really special. If the install size being at 17 gig is an indication of anything, especially against sort of the 9 gig previously DLC, this could be fairly large, because you have to remember the Kraken compression on the PS5 has helped keep install sizes lower. You'll see certain games go to install and they take up less space on the PS5. So that 17 gig DLC compared to the 9 gig PS4 is not even really a fair comparison, because install sizes tend to be lower on the PS5. So this could be quite literally twice the size of the Frozen Wilds DLC, which I will be very pleased with. I'm speculating here. I'm not declaring that. I'm not trying to hype it up or make things up. I'm just saying, based on what we know about the tech and the Kraken compression, this could be a very sizable DLC. And yes, they actually refer to this as an expansion. In one of their official trailers, down in the description, they do refer to this as an expansion. So as far as I can tell, Burning Shores is ushering in the PS5 second phase, and it looks more promising than just a DLC. So let me give you guys my thoughts and my conclusions. The combat and the weapon upgrades to Horizon Forbidden West have me very excited to jump back in. Hopefully some of my criticisms and complaints about combat will be improved with the DLC. Everything was a little spammy, a little stun-locky. I played last night, and I remembered, staying on the move, constantly switch your weapons, and I had a pretty good time. I did get pretty beat up. I was a little bit rusty, and I tried to take on, 3 big things at once, because I wanted to, really put myself in a tough position, because I'm assuming they're not going to beat the snot out of you as soon as you get into this DLC. So I thought, well, maybe make it kind of hard on myself, and I did fine. I didn't die. I had to use healing quite a bit, but I had a pretty good time with it. But I was getting kind of knocked around. I was getting spammed a little bit, and I just think that that's something that maybe I think they turned up a little too much in Horizon Forbidden West, so maybe it's toned down, and maybe they give us a way to minimize that with some of the new things that we've seen. I also know, again, they addressed how long you stay on the ground, so I noticed that last night. I didn't feel like, Aloy was taking a dirt nap every 5 seconds and was like, come on, wake up. That was kind of frustrating in the vanilla version of the game. The second thing I want to say is any graphical updates or quality of life polish should be outlined in a blog, okay? It's fun to speculate, but I would love firm confirmation and information from Guerrilla and PlayStation, especially considering they have blogs bragging about how this thing is showing off the power of the PS5. Okay, well, tell us. What did you do? What did you add? What did you upgrade? It would be great to have specifics, because right now that's obviously a huge debate given all the stuff we've kind of covered with Xbox right now. So here's my conclusion. Burning Shores is shaping up to be a strong start for PlayStation in 2023. Many have pointed to the lack of first-party titles up to now, but we can't forget that the PSVR 2, even though it has smaller reach and it is niche, it's actually doing better than people speculated. Surprise, surprise, people ran with negative headlines and misrepresented the initial sales of PSVR 2. It's shocking that people did that, I know. But the PSVR 2 kind of had to have its moment. It needed to take sort of that first quarter position of 2023. They had to get the games out. They had to do the state of play. And now we got a Final Fantasy 16 state of play. And now we got a DLC that's looking very impressive for Horizon Forbidden West. And we haven't even gotten to the showcase. So this is just sort of the beginning, all right? They had to get through some of these earlier things because, listen, the PSVR 2 is important to their future, I think. I think VR is about to have its first real uptick in the more mainstream reception of the public. right? After all this, I think I agree. All eyes are on June. Even Benji Sales said, with the surge of PS5 sales happening, that showcase better bring it. And I certainly hope that it will. And that's the show open. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you are smashing the like button. We've almost have 500 people here for the show open. We will be diving into Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores gameplay. We will be doing that. Thank you so much for 8 months of memberships. Mike Quad, thank you for hitting 8 months. Let's start the sub goal today, the member goal, I should say, and let's get the coffee in frame. Nobody ordered coffee yesterday. We're continuing to move through the final about 100 bags left of this, so help us plow through that as we get on the runway of the month ending. Take advantage of the $12.95 sale. That's the cheapest we've ever sold that coffee for. And if you're a member, you can get a buy two, get one free. I am sorry, Discord. I am so sorry. I forgot to unmute in Discord. I thought I did. Streaming on multiple platforms. Good to see Victor and Rockin' Robin hanging out over on Kick. Thank you guys for being over there. All you folks on Kick, don't forget that you can... They changed some stuff over here. They've done some UI updates to Kick. Don't forget over here on Kick that you guys can become paying subs, paying members. Rockin' Robin says, you know what? Let's get things started on YouTube. Let's get the first 5 members out the door, and there we go. Thank you so much, Rockin' Robin. If you guys just got one, Jocko the Taco, Echo, DeFrenzy, Adrian, and Michael, you guys can get a buy two, get one free on the coffee. So make sure and take advantage of that. Make sure and take advantage of that. I'm actually not... I forgot to upgrade the glasses command as well as the shirt command. So thank you so much, Matt Johnston, for hitting 2 months of membership. You've reignited my passion for gaming after about a year of struggling to find meaningful play. Hey, I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you guys so much. 15 months from Mick D09. Smash a like button and play Burning Shores. Yeah, we'll be jumping in, but I wanted to have this conversation with you guys first. I thought it would be kind of a fun sort of ramp up to playing the game. I think this looks like more than DLC. As far as we can tell, they've done some pretty significant updates to the game's graphics. Again, I would really like a blog post from them. Brian M. hitting 3 months of membership. I felt a great disturbance in the gaming force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Thank you very much. Cody Biscuits with 11 months, and it's a member plus. Love being a member for this channel. Thank you so much. A strong start. Member renewals, member gifts. Let's cap it off with hitting the goal. Let's keep going. We're at like 2,600 members. We just keep maintaining 2,500, which is phenomenal. But if you guys want that Just Dance stream, you're going to have to hit 3,000, which I believe we can do. We get really close every single month. Matt Piscatella has tweeted, PlayStation 5 hardware unit sales have now surpassed those of the PlayStation 4 on a time-aligned basis. 29 months in the market. Well, you better buckle up, because the PlayStation 4 was a remarkable market saturation move. They did such a good job. With the PS4. It's crazy that the PS5 is surpassing it. So, yeah, Just Dance stream. But again, I charge... Listen, I'm not a cheap date, all right? I'm not a cheap date. I charge quite a bit for that. So, we need 14 more likes for the first 200 likes. You guys are getting us off to a great start. Really excited to play this game today. I'm curious what you guys think about this. I think Sony and Guerrilla should have had a blog out already, personally. I don't like having to do this speculation thing. Like, speculating that they've increased the graphics, speculating that they've updated, like, the lighting, the water, or whatever. We know they did things to the clouds. They talked about that, and some people have noticed that. Some people have, like, Reddit kind of has, like, a thread where, you know, people are talking about the various things that they've noticed, and they're like, bro, the clouds look crazy. Well, they kind of told us about that, but what about everything else? What about the water? What about the lighting? Why does everything look sort of, you know, crispier and brighter? Like, what's going on with that would be my question. Po Buddies Nerfic with 7 months of membership. Thank you so much. New Kick emojis. Yeah, they have their own emojis. They're all green and kind of goofy looking. The only thing that slowed Sony down was the chip shortages. Right, that was the main thing that slowed them down. I watched a video Sony put out, the new companion for Aloy. She seems really great. Do you guys think that they could do co-op in this game? I really, really want co-op in this game. They had a blurb with Game Rant, but they didn't mention much other than the clouds. Yeah, people on Reddit are basically trying to point out all the things that they've noticed. Okay, wait, we have patch notes. This is it? Okay, so they have introducing... Oh, these are just new accessibility features. Enlarging subtitles, auto pickup, color blindness settings, auto camera, navigation assist in focus mode, thalassophobia mode. Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on. I gotta look this up because I don't want to be insensitive. Thalassophobia is fear of deep water. So I guess, what are they going to limit draw distances of the deep water? That's crazy that's so strong. Like, obviously, I try to be empathetic to phobias because you don't have control over them. I mean, you can through exposure therapy sometimes, but that's kind of crazy that they actually put something in the game to help people who have that fear. Jim D says, hey man, I don't need a gifted. I'm going to become a member on my own. That has been the most encouraging thing the last couple of days, is seeing people jump in on their own. Thank you so much for doing that and becoming a member. You get a badge and emotes next to your name. It supports my stream directly. Make sure you get into the Discord. Every 25 new members, I gift 5 to the community. I think that they want the Horizon Monster Hunter type game as the multiplayer side and Aloy as the story single player side. I think you're right, Jake, because I know they kind of came out and said that, because when the multiplayer thing kind of leaked, I think there was a job listing or something. Let me put the scene switcher on so you guys can see the rest of the studio. I think when the job posting happened and everyone was like, oh my gosh, are you guys switching Horizon to a multiplayer game? They came out and said, we are going to continue doing more single player story stuff with Aloy, but they're also going to be doing multiplayer. Like, it's going to be separate endeavors. Yo, my man Rissick coming in. Rissick is going for the Eknor Award this month. So many big member bombs, man. 10 gifted members. One goes to Jake, who was just talking in the chat. That just goes to show you, if you're here, you're involved and you're chatting, it'll increase your opportunity to get a gifted membership. Good to see something stubby in there. I like seeing names I recognize get gifted memberships. Rogue Gaming, man, see, I love to see that. It's so encouraging. It really is. Like, I love seeing people pick up their own membership, man. We've fostered this amazing, generous culture here of people gifting members and competing to gift members, but starting to see people jump in on their own is so exciting. Welcome in, Rogue Gaming. That's 2 brand new members today, and then 15 gifteds. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys get in the Discord. If you are a member, you can take advantage. You can take advantage of the coffee sale that we're doing right now. Buy 2, get 1 free. You can get 3 bags of coffee for like $26. It's an amazing deal. Maxwell with a $5 super chat tip says, I have that phobia, hence why when I go to the beach, I don't go further than the water on my chest, even though I know how to swim. Okay, so Maxwell, you have the phobia. How much would it affect you in a video game, right? Because everybody experiences their own phobia to different severities, right? Fear of heights might not mess with the person in a video game, and then it might mess with the person right next to them. They can both have fear of heights, but one of them won't feel it in the video game, and then the other will. Will Death Stranding 2 use the Decima engine? I don't see why they wouldn't. I love what you're saying. The straitjacket joke was funny AF. I thought people were going to like that tweet. Jake says, yeah, it will. Horizon triggers my submechanophobia. Shut up. Shut up. That's ridiculous. Stop it. Settle down. I'm getting some really, really nice DMs, man. A lot of people are showing support and saying, look, man, just keep going. Just keep doing what you do. And I greatly appreciate it. I really, really do. It's been a long road having to kind of like start this channel and do this live show. And you guys, the people that have been throwing their support behind me, have just been amazing. It's really, really exciting to see the way the way that people have been receiving, you know, the content, the way people have been responding to the content. I absolutely love it, and we appreciate you guys so much. Fears are also on a spectrum, right? Making Creature, have a great day. Yo, what's good, Feed? Good to see you in the chat. I also don't go deeper because I don't want to drown. Don't they give you the ability to breathe underwater in this game? I thought that was something that they added. Specifically, thalassophobia describes a person's fear of the great unknown in the water right below their feet. You know what's crazy is, I think everybody has that feeling and that fear to a certain degree. Buddy, if I go out far enough, I remember when I was on a cruise, I remember looking at the water and I felt like the sense of, oh golly, I don't even want to really think about that for very long. It's just almost an infinite amount of depth, just all the way down. And you don't know what's down there, man. The monsters and dinosaurs that have slept for ages, you know. I can definitely empathize with somebody being like, I can't even get in the water because I don't even know what's down there. I think I would struggle to take a boat out really far and then just get in the water. I don't think I would like that. I don't think I would want to do it because it's like, I don't know what's down there, right? Now, it wouldn't affect me in the game, though. You don't get the breather until later. Okay, but you do end up getting the breather. Okay, so if you have not played Horizon Forbidden West gameplay, you do get the ability to breathe underwater at some point, so you don't have to really worry about, you know, you're going to go down too far and die or whatever. I have moments where I'll get uncomfortable when there's very deep water in games, but I can push past it. I saw a PSVR 2 game promoted on Twitter as a skateboarding game. I was like, listen, I love my PSVR 2, but my gosh, that'll make me motion sick before I even get in the game. It was like going fast and kick flipping and jumping. I'm like, dude, I won't be able to play that game. I was on a submarine for 5 years, not straight, but it gets pretty crazy. I bet you dudes get what do they call that? Do they call that cabin fever? I bet you dudes go crazy down there sometimes, right? They got to get meds and treatment, get them out of there because they'll lose it. All the way down there, it's like an alien world down there, bro. I've swam in the Mariana Trench. It's too beautiful. Jeepers. Got popped by a jellyfish in ankle-deep water, sheesh. Well, listen, if you are trying to dive into Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, they have apparently added something for people that have fear of deep water. I don't know what it is. Has anybody tested it? I'm assuming it just makes it so that you can't see very far down. So, what do they limit it? Or do they let you see really far down? So that it's not fear of the unknown. You can, see all the way to the bottom. I'm wondering what they did. They have to paint the walls different colors so it doesn't mess up your eye and your equilibrium or submarine. Oh, really? Look up saturation divers if you want a good look. Keep reading the patch notes. If you use that accessibility option, you can breathe underwater even without the breather. Oh, and they let you see. Okay, so for people that have fear of deep water, this is what they did in Horizon Forbidden West. This is what Mike Quad is telling me in chat. He's saying that they let you breathe underwater from the beginning, so you don't have to get the breather. Like, you can't drown, and they let you see, all the way down. So there's no, fog or depth, or there's oh, no, I don't know what's down there. That's really interesting. I wonder what kind of player feedback they got about that. Did somebody play, and did they notice a lot of people are avoiding the swimming? A lot of people are avoiding the water. We don't really know why. And then they pressed in, and they said, hey, you tried out our Burning Shores DLC, and we noticed that you avoided a lot of the swimming and a lot of the water. Why is that? And they're probably like, oh, I have fear of deep water. So I have thalassophobia, or however you pronounce it. And they're like, oh, well, what could we do to solve that? Whether it's breathing underwater, so you don't drown, or that you can see really, really far down. Whoa! That is a big gifted member bomb, pushing us to the next milestone. 37 members on the day, a 20 gifted member bomb from Mayhem. Mayhem bringing the mayhem. Thank you so much. You guys are competing for that Eknor Award. Eknor, for those of you that don't know, was an incredibly generous, gifted guy. He would gift members all the time. He has passed away. His brother came and let us know, and we want him to live on. We kind of want to immortalize Eknor here, so every month we give people the Eknor Award. Whoever gifts the most members, you get a free bag of coffee. That's not much, but it's a kind gesture, and it's a great way to honor Eknor eternally here. Derek says, presumably they turn off drowning, but you still need the item to access deep locations. Really? Okay. Just curious if there's any past vids on your views of mobile gaming and cloud gaming on the phone. Rogue, I haven't got into that. I think we did we do one show on mobile? I think we might have done one show on mobile gaming. I don't actually have a lot on the subject because the audience here doesn't really like that. Mobile games, are they taking over? I streamed that 7 months ago. It was about an hour and a half show. It did not do very good. We covered the Division mobile gameplay, Diablo Immortal gameplay, and obviously we've tried to draw attention to the fact that the Activision Blizzard deal is more about mobile than anything. But I don't really cover it because the community doesn't really care. We're not really mobile gamers here. When did he pass away? A couple of weeks ago. It was April the 5th. Remember the 5th of April instead of remember the 5th of November. That's how I remember. Yeah, he passed away on April the 5th, and his brother did stop by to let us know. Serendipitously, he stopped by in a day where y'all went crazy before we even knew. We had like 150 members that day, and we really honored him. But it wasn't even on purpose. We just had a huge day, and he came in when we had about 100-something members already, and he's like, oh yeah, I just wanted you guys to know, Eknor instructed me to come here and tell you guys. It was his brother. He's like, he did in fact pass away. He let us know that he was terminally ill. He let us know that he was undergoing treatment, and he was very aware that his time was short. And so we were like, let's honor Eknor, and let's do an Eknor Award every month. Just found out I can't start Burning Shores till the main game is completed. I'm holding off buying the DLC. I tried to get the word out, Prezer, as best I could. Like, anytime it came up, I would tell people, hey, make sure you finish the campaign. You have to finish that final mission called Singularity. If you haven't done Horizon Forbidden West gameplay yet, the very final mission is called Singularity. And when you're done with the boss, you kind of come back to your area, and I'm not going to get into spoilers, but you come back to your little area, and then you're good to go. As soon as I booted up the game this morning, Silence started talking to me. Aloy. Like, Lance Riddick was suddenly talking to me, which is a little bittersweet to hear his just iconic and recognizable voice after he passed away. But we are, obviously, as a fan of Horizon and a fan of Lance Riddick, I'm glad he got his work done, before he passed. So he was able to be in this DLC. So really cool to see, him kind of honored on Twitter already. People are like, putting pictures up and stuff because it is a sad thing. But he would want you to enjoy it. He would want you to enjoy the content. And Keenan gets to hit a 6-month milestone because Brian M. gifts a membership. Thank you so much for doing that. Taking us to 38 members on the day. Thank you so much, Brian. Guys, every 25 members, I gift 5. We are maintaining between 25 and 2,600 members. If we hit 3,000 members, which is, 400 to 500 from where we are now, if we hit that, I have to do a Just Dance stream with my wife. I did one already, and I upped the ante because I don't want to do another one, so you got to pay good money. Members, don't forget, the last Saturday of every month, if you unlock it, but the last Saturday of this month will be the Star Wars Watch Party. And we're doing it that Saturday because it's kind of on the heels of the Star Wars game. We thought that would be pretty fitting because the Star Wars game is next week, isn't it? He still has some Destiny stuff coming too. It's bittersweet. That's right. Lance will definitely continue to have some lines recorded for Zavala in Destiny. So, good that hopefully he got everything done. I'm not sure what some of these games will have to do to honor him. I don't think that's the primary concern in the wake of his death, but obviously you would hope they honor him well and maybe even immortalize both characters as best they can. Lance also completed his shoot for the John Wick spin-off move. That's right. So we'll see him again on the big screen. I forgot about that. Gifts, and more gifts. Let's do the Just Dance now. That's right, man. Keep them coming. Keep the gifted members going. We don't just do member trains here. We do gifted member trains. So thank you everybody who makes that possible. Make sure you guys are smashing the like button as well as we get close to 600 viewers. Let's hit 300 likes. I'll give you a too long didn't read on my opening monologue in a moment. That way you guys can kind of know what I'm talking about. One comment about water accessibility and one about Lance. Nominate Soham Sen for a ban. Ending of Burning Shores is trash. Doesn't make sense considering she was jealous, was in love. Yeah, let's not put spoilers in the chat, Soham Sen. If you're not happy about the ending, that's fine, but let's not put spoilers in the chat. The accessibility option would just need to force you to surface without any danger of drowning, and then the item would allow you to go deeper, longer on the dive. That would keep the story. Right. Yeah, guys, please no spoilers. People are going to be diving in today and playing. There's no reason for that right now. The fact that he passed and then the story beat in that game that happened, right. He was a legend on The Wire. Yeah, that's I first interacted with him on Lost was when I first interacted with him. You got a lot of work to do, Mr. Locke. He was good in that. And look at you now, an orderly. Oh, I'm a lot more than that. He was so good. He was so good in that show. Ravenous, yeah, that was rough. I'm telling you, I'm pulling. Sorry for posting spoilers. You're good. I'm pulling for co-op in this game, dude. I'm pulling for a little bit of co-op, man. Just pulling for a little bit of co-op, you know? Just let my wife and I run around this game. Like, look. I'm not giving anything away, by the way. Like, she looks like an Aloy clone. She looks like an Aloy twin. She's got the bow on her back. She's got the focus. She kind of stands like her. You know what I'm saying? Let somebody play along with me. You know? Let somebody play along with me. That'd be amazing. I don't mind about the ending for Forbidden West since 1, I don't have PS4 anymore or PS5, and 2, Forbidden West still has no PC version. Lance was great in domestics. Lono, you want co-op on everything. It's kind of true. It's kind of true. It's kind of true. I do. I really love co-op. I just want to play games with another person. I find it very enjoyable. One of my favorite games the last couple of years, I played it twice, is It Takes Two. I played it once with Hilly, and then I played it with Madam, and it's just such an enjoyable experience. We're thinking about streaming through the entire game of It Takes Two with Madam for members on Friday nights. Maybe that could be the next game we kind of like slowly go through with you guys. We think that could be really, really fun and create a lot of funny moments. To be fair, this game has always had intelligent NPCs for story missions, so a co-op mode could definitely work. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Why just let somebody run around with me? Like, all they got to do is drop in and be a companion. A lot of the times when you're in the combat, they literally have people in the area fighting the animals or the monsters or the robots, whatever you want to call them. You know, they're already kind of in there fighting. It wouldn't be abnormal. It wouldn't be abnormal to suddenly have like somebody running around with you. Like, look. Like, come on, man. She's even is that a sword? It's some kind of a sword on her back. Oh, she's behind me right now. Like, this just looks like a co-op sequence. You know what I'm saying? This just looks like a co-op sequence. Like, she's kind of, like, she goes up and she kind of crouches and gets ready, and then they're going to go into this area together. You know what I mean? I could see a Monster Hunter style game. Well, we know there's a Horizon multiplayer game that they're apparently building. So, you know, we'll see if it ever turns into a game. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me give you a bit of a recap. While I'm giving you a recap on my thoughts about why I think this is more than just a DLC, make sure and smash the like button. That definitely helps me out. That helps out the video. More people find the video when it's got lots of likes. So, basically said that this looks like more than just an expansion, and they are referring to Burning Shores as an expansion. So Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores is not just sort of like a little DLC. They refer to it as an expansion, about a 17 gig install. Frozen Wilds on the PS4 was about a 9 gig install, and with the Kraken compression on the PS5, I think it's safe to say this is about twice the install size of the DLC that they did in Horizon Zero Dawn. Thank you, Colin, for hitting 19 months, and it's a VIP plus. Oh, by the way, guys, Zubair is one of our members, and he came up with a really fun incentive. If we get to 200 VIPs, right now we have about 140 VIPs. If we get to 200 VIPs, I will do a weekly VIP only stream, just like a short little segment, like a rant segment, like where I kind of like let loose. He kind of wants an unfiltered rant about the week. And so he said, hey, would you do that for VIPs? I said, I can only afford to do an extra stream for VIPs if we have enough that would actually consume the content, right? I think 200 is a pretty good number. So if you want to upgrade your membership, use the join button, the join command, or the membership tab, and you would click on See Perks, and you can upgrade to VIP. So consider doing that. It does get you in the VIP lounge, in the Discord, and sometimes I throw codes and stuff in there. So thank you guys so much for being here and being members, and that is something that Zubair threw out as an idea. 809 Lion says, I love the fact that you have to finish the campaign in order to access DLC. My biggest complaint with DLC is that it normally takes place before the story ends. This one actually expands the story. It gives me hope that maybe they have more plans. I don't know. Maybe they have more plans to expand the world, or this is just how they want to kind of hand things off to the third game. So the recap of why I think this is more than just a DLC, I broke it into 4 categories. 1, I talked about the combat. Number 2, I talked about the weapons. And number 3, I talked about the graphics. It seems that they're sort of increasing and improving all 3 of these categories. How much is VIP? Oh, I can't even remember. I forget where we said it. Is it 10? I think it's just 10. Yeah, VIP is $10. So it's just instead of the 5, it's a $10 membership. Yeah. So you guys would be upgrading by, $5. This was Zubair's idea. Anyway, can you play the DLC standalone? No, you cannot. You have to beat the entire game before you play the DLC. Should I play the first game on PS5 or PC? They've done really good upgrades to Horizon Zero Dawn on PS5. I would play it on the PS5. The PC was always just kind of, whoa! Gee, money Christmas! Eisen, how do I say that? The filthy casual just dropped a 50 bomb on chat. He makes us hit the 50 milestone. He makes us hit the 75 milestone, just blowing past it, and now we're 12 away from 100 members on the day. That is a monstrous gifted bomb from Eisen the Filthy Casual. I think that's how you're supposed to say. That is massive. That is absolutely freaking bonkers. Every 25 new members, I give 5 back to the community, and you're pushing us already to 100 on the day. Big day. Thank you so much for that generosity. Eisen says, hey man, that Eknor award sounds pretty good. I want that. That's a big member bomb. Thank you so much. If you guys just got a membership, a great way to pay it forward would be to gift 1 member as a thank you. Just be like, hey man, thanks. I'm going to pay it forward. I don't got to pay for my membership this month. I'm going to buy 1 membership to 1 other person. You can literally do a single gifted membership, right? You do not have to do these big, massive bombs like Eisen. You can literally do a single gifted. So, and if listen, if you guys just got a membership, get into our members only Discord. It's a great place to hang out with people, great place for conversation. You can play games with others, and there's a buy 2 get 1 free code in there just for members. He does another one, taking us to 98 members on the day. He drops a 10 gifted bomb. This guy is just swinging for the fences. I gotta take a drink. I had like a weird like tickle in my throat. Dude, that is insane, bro. Sadiq was like, hey, I'm going to tack on here. I'm going to take us right to 99. Thank you so much, Sadiqwa, for gifting one member, and it goes to Marvin. That's a great way to pay it forward if you can. If you're like, look, man, I got $5. Somebody just gifted me a membership. I'm going to pay it forward. You can gift one at a time. Single gifted member train. Let's go. Just pay it forward what Eisen just did for the community. Appreciate you very, very much, sir. Thank you. Gift button is next to the emote button. You can also use your member gift for a super chat. Well, yeah. If you're going to super chat, though, we would much prefer members. We'd much prefer another 5 gifted from Assumed Parasite, taking us to 104, rolling us past 100, and then Catwalk's going to gift and take us to 105. And then Willie Kale's gonna gift and take us to 106. There we go. It's a gifted member train. Keep it going. Make that top of the board on chat. Just keep shoving to the right. Just keep it going. You guys, this is amazing. I'm telling you, if you're watching and you've never been here before, you've probably never seen anything like this on YouTube. We have such a generous community. Get involved. Become a part of what we do here. Get in our Discord. Order some coffee. Sub to the channel so you don't miss the content. Rainbow gifts a member, taking us to 107. We're just pushing. We are absolutely pushing that number today. Tried to get us to 100, ended up 106. Y'all too fast for me, says Willie Kale. Man, thank you guys so much. Let me give you guys a total member count. Let's just see how close you guys are getting to the Just Dance stream. I set the bar high because I really, truly do not want to do one. I truly don't. That is not reverse psychology. Like the last couple of months, we've gotten close and not hit it. I've actually breathed a sigh of relief. We are at 2,699. Nice. 2,699. We are a sub away. We're one member away from 2,700 members. Okay, so Hex just put us to 2,700 members. That means we are 300 away from the Just Dance stream. That is so massive, bro. So glad I found you again. It's been so long. Bristol Manor, a lot of people are rediscovering me. If you're rediscovering me because people are being nasty on Twitter, just come hang out here. We don't focus on that. We don't get involved with that. We just try to put out good content and grow a great community. Thank you for being here. Bumble Pants is going to gift one. That's a great name. Bumble Pants gifts a member. And my man Death, doing 21-month milestone. Thank you, sir. And guys, don't forget about the VIP incentive. If you just got a gifted membership or you had a membership for a while, you can upgrade to VIP. It's $10 a month, and we'll do a once-a-week VIP stream. This is something Zubair asked for. And Bumble Pants hits an 8-month milestone as well, renewing. Thank you so much for that. I never had to buy mine, so I'll give one. Thank you. And 5 from Raijin, taking us to 114 members on the day. Jeffrey says, so impressed with your work ethic. You took a bad situation a couple years ago, turned this channel into a success story. I rarely comment on anything, but I felt the need to. Bravo. I feel that in here, man. Thank you. That's very kind. We try not to think or focus on that. It's been super, super hard, and we've just done work. That's all we've tried to do is put on a good show, and that way you have a reason to be here every day, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We've been talking Horizon Forbidden West this morning, Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores. Guys, to celebrate all these amazing members, man, smash that like button a few more times. Get us to 300 likes. Thank you very much. Godson says, I'm listening to some reviews. They are saying if you run straight through, it's about 5 to 6 hours, but with side quests, maybe about 10. Not very long. How much? It's only $20 though, right? $20 for 5 to 10 hours. I feel like that's about standard. That's because I have an irritable bowel. Yeah, if you guys want that VIP thing to happen, you're going to have to stay on chat's head about it. I don't want to keep bringing that up. You guys are amazing. Like, the generosity and the membership numbers are crazy. But if you want people to upgrade to VIP, you're going to have to be getting on people's heads about it in chat. A little over an hour streaming and all the gifts. This is a great group of individuals. Thank you so much, Chris. I agree. Wait, you do a talk show? I thought you just sold coffee. Gabriella with 5 months. Off topic. Do you ship coffee to Europe as well? Thank you for the good shows. Gabriella, I do, but I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to give more money to the post office than to me if you do it. Right? You're going to give more money to the post office than to me. We will need a VIP command. I don't know if there is one. Let me see. I'll make one. You're going to spend so much to get the coffee over to you. It just isn't going to be worth it. It just is simply not going to be worth it. VIP. If we get 200 VIP members, Lono will do a weekly uncensored rant stream just for VIPs. We currently have about 140. There you go. It's about the price of a pair of cat ears and a right shoulder pad, color and halo. Oh man, people are spending $20 on skins. Right. All you guys have to do is use the join button or the join command or the membership tab, and you just go to see perks and you'll be able to upgrade if you guys want to do that. Thank you guys so much for an incredibly strong turnout today. We will be diving in to Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores. We will be, right? We will be diving into that. That will be something that we do. When's the OnlyFans coming? Thank you for helping me make more money for you. I need good braces. If I need good braces, I'm coming to you. The replies to your tweets are awful. Dude, just block them. Just block them and move on, man. Just block them and move on. You don't need to concern yourself with people like that, you know? You just don't. The problem is people think you have to respond to people like that, and you don't. Like, they have serious like mental problems if that's what they spend their day doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm in here hanging out with y'all, making content. That's what I'm doing. That's what I spend my time doing. And if I'm not here with you, I'm hanging out with my wife and kids. Like, I got better things to do with my time than to care about that. Rockin' Robin gifting a membership, and it goes to God's Son. Thank you so much, taking us to 115 members on the day. That's amazing. If you're poor like me, at least hit the like button. That's right. Listen. I've said this very many times. Thank you so much, Breebs, for doing a VIP. Welcome back. Listen. All I learned from the Twitter replies is you looked good with long hair. That's my man. That's my man right there. I appreciate that. Way to turn it into a I should just start replying to it and be like, hey, man, you're really making me think about growing my long hair back out. Like, totally just show them they have no power. Like, I'm blocking all of them, but it would be pretty funny to be like, man, you're making me really want to grow my hair back out. Like, totally just mock them. They'd be like, what, does this guy not care? No, nobody does. Except for you and all your little sycophantic people. What did you do now? I didn't do anything. I'm just streaming and talking about video games. That's all I've done. Your Zubair's like, VIP. I forget what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. We will be diving in. We will be diving into the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC today. We will be. I was thinking what would be really fun Friday night with Madam. What do you guys think about this? We play Horizon Forbidden West. And we do the thing where each person has a controller. They have a thing where you can share control of Aloy. I think it might actually be hilarious. Rad Remington gifting a membership, taking us to 116. Thank you so much, 116 members on the day. Be grateful you have here. Thank you. And it goes to Toby. Oh, I know what I was saying. If you can afford a membership and you're here all the time, consider doing a membership. It will take you out of the pool for gifted members, and gifted members will then go to the people that can't afford it. A great way to take yourself out of the gifted member pool is to upgrade to a member plus. It's a $1 upgrade, but what it does is it puts you in a different category. Instead of being in the $5 member category, it puts you in the member plus category, which is literally just to get out of that pool and to make room for members. And that's a great thing to do. You could also upgrade to VIP and make Zubair happy. It'd make me happy too. Yeah, my daughter is going to need braces. it's the joys of parenthood. Oh, your mouth's all jacked up. That's probably my fault. She got that from me. So you look great and healthy. Glad to see you doing well. Thank you, Breebs. Thank you. I'm feeling great. I really am. I made a lot of changes in my life. Made a lot of changes in my daily work routines. Lost a lot of weight. Changed my diet. The sun's shining. I'm not even a fan of baseball. Let me just tell y'all. Okay. I do not like baseball at all. And I know you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, America's pastime. It's just so boring. Okay. I have respect for people that love it. I have respect for the talent. I have respect for everything that goes into baseball, but I just don't like it at all. And my son really wanted to play because his friends were playing. And my friend was like, for somebody who was like baseball, you're really getting into this. Yo, my boy hit the ball each time he was at the plate. He got on base every time he was at bat. I was like, look at my little man out there, like elbow up and back, just bam, hitting that thing. Bro, all of a sudden I was like, baseball's not so bad. Baseball's not so bad. My little man's out there hitting the ball. It was awesome. He's brave too. That kind of stuff's hard for him because it's like all eyes are on you when you're the batter. All eyes are on you, and he doesn't like that kind of attention. He crushed it, man. It was awesome. His second at bat, he hit the ball first time. It's machine pitch because at their age, you can't have a pitcher. It just doesn't work. They can't get the ball to the plate. So can we get some Reforge Gaming merch? It'll be here when it gets here. We're trying to do some stuff with the coffee right now, and once that's done, we will launch a Reforge, a site with merch and stuff. We will. Right now, there's a few things of merch you can get on reforgeroast.com, mostly for the coffee. Wait, machine pitch? Yeah, for the younger ages, a lot of the leagues go to machine pitch because if you don't do machine pitch for like 7 and 6 year olds, nothing ever happens because no one can get the ball across the plate. No coach's pitch. Machine pitch is just more consistent. Yeah, they don't do coach pitch; they do machine pitch. It's awesome. It's awesome. That way the kids can just practice on hitting, like they can just, practice their swing. So I don't want to talk baseball though. I don't want to talk baseball. Let me give you my recap. I was giving you a recap, and then you guys went crazy and you interrupted me with all of your generosity. I can't afford the membership, but keep the gifts coming. I love gifts. Great support. Great community. Thank you so much. Where's all your cool t-shirts come? I'm looking to upgrade my graphic tees. Use my code at 80s Tees. There's a shirt command. Code Lono will get you 30% off. 80s Tees has an amazing collection of shirts. Okay. You're stuck in the first mission, though. Once you get to the Burning Shores Island, there's a fellow NPC quest. The NPC keeps trying to follow me. I've done everything, reloaded earlier saves, restarted the game. Go back to the main area. I'm so upset waiting for the patch. It seems some people are having an issue and some don't. Oh, they're having an issue with the NPC following them. Interesting. GNS says, let's hit 200 members on the day. Great community, great stream, truly great guy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You ever bean any of the kids with the machine just for giggles? Well, they can't. It's like mounted. Your shirt is in 30 FPS. It is. It's not Punisher. Listen, I wore the Punisher yesterday. I can't wear the Punisher every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take victory laps, man. I'm not trying to take victory laps. I wear the Punisher shirt when people know, that they should be on the lookout for things going on. But I'm not wearing the Punisher shirt today. I saw some clips that made me sad. I don't want to wear the Punisher shirt today. I wanted to think of a happier time in my childhood. Anyway, why am I asking the question? Is Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores Why do I think it might be more than a DLC? So I looked at the combat, the weapons, and the graphics. And the combat's clearly been upgraded, new abilities, new stuff. And my biggest hope for the combat, because I am going to jump into Burning Shores gameplay today, I am going to check it out. And my biggest hope is that they really upgraded the combat. I actually had a lot of criticisms for the combat when it happened, when the game first came out, right? What in the world? Yeah, what the actual heck is happening? All right, I can't pay attention to that right now. Yeah, it's nothing serious. We just had somebody in the Discord get really angry and leave. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, my issues with the combat when Horizon Forbidden West first came out was it just felt really spammy. Right? It just went really spammy. It was like it was clearly that they decided to change some things. It was almost like they wanted to give every single enemy type range attacks, and in giving them range attacks, I personally felt like the interval on the attacks was a little too high. It's just my personal opinion, right? No, it wasn't Wheezy again. He's not buying me a television. That's what I felt like. The shirt command wasn't updated. Oh, that's why you guys are bringing up the Punisher. All right, fine. Lono is wearing a Zelda shirt. It's just going to take you to 80s tees. And my glasses. These are not the Horizon frames. These are the augment frames. Guys, always remember to use my code over at Gamer Advantage Glasses. They're great blue light blocking glasses, and they also have really nice magnetic sunglass attachments. I don't have them down here right now. I probably should. We're at 2709 on the member count. 2709 on the member count. Almost 300 members to get to the 3,000. Okay. So I did feel that the combat was rough in some spots. I definitely respect your opinion, but I love the combat in Forbidden West. What was your score on Forbidden West? I gave it a solid 8. I really did. The reason that I dropped it down from like a 9 or a 9.5, because I dropped Horizon Forbidden West. I thought it was going to land at like a 9 or 9.5 because I thought, I love the first game. I'm probably going to love this game. I love open world action adventure games. I love Aloy. I love Ashley Birch. I think she's as charming as a postcard. She's super talented. If you don't know who Ashley Birch is, shame on you. Anyways, I was ready to give this game a 9.5. I felt the story got a little... They kept doing this thing where they were like, you think that this is happening, but actually this is happening. And they did it like 2 times too many. Instead of doing it once or twice, it was like 4 or 5 times, right? And I was like, okay. I even said, I was like, I guarantee you when we go to do this thing at the end, it's going to be something else is really going on. And that's exactly what happened. So I took a point away. I took like half a point away there. I was like, I'm going to take about a half a point away there. I thought the story was 90% good. The voice acting, the mocap. I love my man Varl. Varl's like my favorite character. He's good looking. He's got that beard. Anyway, love the voice acting, love the characters, love the story development. The dude that loses his arm, one of my favorite characters in the game. I loved all the conversations with Gaia. Thought it was beautifully done, beautifully voice acted, so I took about a half a point away. Then I took a whole point away. Okay. I took a whole point away because the combat was so spammy and so stun-locky. I just had such a hard time enjoying it. All the way up to the end, I was just kind of irritated in the combat more often than I was enjoying it. I showed people once in a fight. I was like, watch. I got out of the way of the enemy and it like went running over the other side. I turned, went to take a shot, and the enemy was already attacking me. The rhythm of some of the fights was just really, really bad, right? It was really, really bad. And I played Horizon Forbidden West gameplay in its vanilla state. In its vanilla state, I was sort of dealing with laying on the ground anytime you got stunned. They acknowledged that she laid on the ground way too long, and they trimmed it way down, right? That guy that loses his arm has that problem in video games. Right, the voice actor, he's the guy from Sekiro, isn't he? So, Sekiro. They basically, I think, acknowledged one of the primary problems. They acknowledged it. So, I just continue to kind of say, listen, I'm willing to give the combat another go. I'm willing to try it out. I played last night, and I will say combat did feel better. It took me a second to kind of get into the groove, but I didn't feel like I was getting stun locked as much. I still felt like it was a little spammy, but I was able to kind of get out of the way. I was obviously changing my weapons a lot. That definitely helps. I think one of the things that people do in the game is they get tunnel vision and they have like a couple of things that they really like, but it's like you should be constantly switching. It's like launching the explosive balls, launching an explosion thing, throwing spears. Like you should be doing all of it. They definitely made the enemies more aggressive than in the first game. You also feel it more because they removed some of the cheese tactics that people abused in the first game. I don't remember even using any of the cheese tactics in the first game. I don't remember doing that. I don't even really remember seeing that. So for me, the first game, I just enjoyed it sort of as it was. I remember actually getting a little frustrated because sometimes they would put you in different spots and it would be really, really cramped and it'd be like really, really hard to get out of the way. And I actually think that made me get frustrated in the first game as well. It was like you'd be in these really cramped spaces. This guy says, with PS5 dominating in a major way, what's the point of crapping on Xbox and Xbox fans at this point? What's the end game? What do y'all want to achieve? You want Xbox to lose? They're losing badly. You want more people to play on PlayStation? They are. What more do you want? Well, that's why I'm trying to win gracefully. I don't feel like I've tried to... I don't feel like... He's not talking to me. That's just Kid Smooth. He was on the podcast the other night when I was on Crossfire. Just to clarify, we spoke to Eknor and asked his permission to name the Eknor Award after him, and he was honored for us to do it, and he gladly agreed to it. No one's using his name to make money. We're honoring a past homie. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about his outburst. We've been aware of his behavior for a while. How many alts he's made on Twitter. I just never felt worth. It never felt worse confronting him because it's one of those things where it's like it's you're better off having somebody close than not, and whatever. Smoke bomb's actually kind of broken in combat. You can pretty much reset any combat situation, says Legend Status. Yeah, we want Xbox to be great. Yeah, he's just talking about the general vibe on Twitter. And I agree. I think people go way too far. I think people are like, it's kind of like the people that were celebrating, like saying, I'm going to enjoy Starfield more knowing that PlayStation people can't play it. How freaking immature are you, right? You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's like, hey, I want it to be great, bro. I'm not happy about the fact that Redfall is a game I won't play with my wife now. I'm not happy about the fact that, like, Starfield will probably be a game that I skip. Good morning, fam. Got a little mini fan. Oh, my goodness. Oh, little babos. Oh, little babe. Look at that fuzzy little head. Both of my kids were born with hair, and so anytime I see like a little bald head, we skipped that phase. You know, my kids came out looking like toddlers. They just full head of dark hair. Oh man, I always think there's something adorable about when little babos, they got no hair. They look like little old men, little old ladies. I love it. Oh man. I like the aggressive enemy, says Sprinting Snail. It forces you to learn enemy weakness and use the correct arrows instead of cheesing. I will 100% agree with the fact that they definitely made the combat more precise. And what I mean by more precise is you have to approach each enemy within their context. You know? Oh, I didn't know we were going to get to see the babe. Oh, the babe. So cute. That reminds me of my niece. My niece has great, really, really great eyebrows. Like, a lot of times babies, you can't really see their eyebrows. They kind of come in later. And your bebe's got some cute eyebrows. It gives them more personality, especially when they start laughing and stuff. So cute. 9 months old, waiting for some hair. Awesome. I think most people here want Xbox to succeed because it's conducive to a healthy gaming industry if we have the giants enjoying healthy competition. What's wrong with Redfall? It's launching at 30 FPS. I can't have babies reading chat. I talk so much crap about babies in chat. Did you guys see the video that went viral of that man losing his mind on the flight because the baby was crying? I was in tears. Because at one level, you're like, I understand. This guy has had enough. He's a broken man. He got worn down on a flight where he was probably tired, and this baby would just not stop crying. I'm like, bro, I have been there, but you can't do what you're doing. You gotta bottle it up. You gotta bottle it up. He's like, they're like, you're raising your voice. He's like, the baby's been raising its voice for the last 20 minutes. They're telling him that he's yelling and screaming. He's like, the baby's been screaming for the last 20 minutes. Like, this guy, woo-wee. I need to see this. It's remarkable. It really is remarkable. And somebody said, this man said, and they have like a clip of some guy who's like, what are you looking at with your stupid little face? And he like gets up and everyone's like, hey, chill out. And he's like, get a hold of your kid over here. And it's just like a baby. It's just a baby. Okay. Now, as long as you guys don't interrupt me, we are close to the 125. All right, as long as you don't interrupt me. Let me finish my recap. I've interrupted myself numerous times. So, we're kind of talking about Horizon Forbidden West combat. And the reason I think this, Burning Shores is more than a DLC. And I've been speaking a little bit, honestly, because people are like, well, what score did you give? Like, what's your Horizon Forbidden West review? What score did you give? I gave it an 8 out of 10, solid 8 out of 10. Everybody's going to tell you I'm a Sony pony. I was actually pretty hard on Horizon Forbidden West. I was pretty critical. I was critical of some of the stuff they did with the story, and I was pretty critical of the combat. And some of my criticism of the combat, made it to the developers. Not me specifically, but like a lot of people were complaining about elements of the combat being, spammy and stun-locky, and so they made some changes. So I'm hoping that Burning Shore, he's like, you better check your bro. Yeah, it's just a little baby sitting there. He's like, you better check your bro. What is that comedy skit routine on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave? They had some baby competition and some guy in the crowd was like, F you! And he's like yelling at the baby. And the guy's like telling the audience to chill. You can't be yelling at babies? Like, my God. That was really funny. Anyway. So I feel some of the changes to combat might help punctuate the combat more with bigger moments. It seemed like there was some sort of melee, big critical finishers. You can use the pull caster to contain the enemies a little bit more. You can get zenith weapons. That's kind of the next thing that I talked about in the show open. So I talked about the combat, then I talked about the weapons. It seems like you're going to be able to get these zenith weapons. It's like a Mega Man thing on her arm that she pulls up and it kind of spins. If you remember the zeniths, they're the guys that show up from like outer space and they have like defenses that you can't get through and they've got weaponry and all this stuff. Just bought the DLC. Gonna check it out tonight. Okay. And good, enjoy it, kicking it with Timmy B. Good to see you in chat. And so, generally speaking, I think that it seems as though they're trying to bring some of those things forward. Maybe they took some of the criticism to heart. Maybe they took some of those things under consideration when they built this. To be fair, your criticisms were of the combat in the game before it was fully patched, and your story complaints seem to stem from playing it on your limited streamer schedule. No, it wasn't because of my limited streamer schedule. So yes, the combat criticisms actually did get answered by the developers, which means my combat criticisms were probably pretty fair. And my issues with the story, it wasn't because of limited playtime. It was because anytime you're telling a story and you're setting up expectations, right? Anytime you're setting up expectations, and you want to kind of subvert those expectations and surprise somebody, it's really effective when that happens. When you have the twist, right? The M. Night Shyamalan twist. I see dead people, the village, all these things, right? You have this big twist. But if you do that too many times within the same story, it loses its punch. It loses its potency. So there was at least twice or 3 times in the story, they set everything up and you think this is what's going on. And then you find out, nope, actually no. Surprise, like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And like the 3rd or 4th time they did it, what happens is it creates an agnostic, or maybe not agnostic, I'm apathetic about the story. I'm like, okay, how do I get invested in what you're telling me if now I have this deep-seated skepticism? Like, is this really what's going on, or are you just playing a trick again? Right? It's like the Charlie Brown thing with the football. How many times that idiot little bald-headed kid gonna run and try and kick the football, right? How many times are you gonna let her do this to you? Well, that's what it felt like in the game. It's like, come on and kick the ball. Just kidding. That's not what's really going on. I meant to talk about this when I was home. People that played for 100% had opposite takes from you. They thought the story took too long to pan out, not that it was rushed. I'm not saying it was rushed. Yeah, no. That's not my criticism. I'm not saying it was rushed at all. I played a completionist as well. I loved a couple of plot twists and didn't think it was fast or less impactful. No. I'm not saying it was fast. I'm saying they did it too many times. I didn't think that the pacing was bad or it went too fast. I thought the pacing was fine. I wanted to do more side quests and more side quest dialogue because I always enjoy that in Horizon Zero Dawn. I actually thought that was quite good because they do something that Elder Scrolls Online I thought was always really good at, is like you would talk to an NPC and they would give you good backstory and lore in like a couple sentences. So you feel like you get the illusion of depth without having to do like some deep dive into some character's backstory. So I actually wanted to do all of those things. So I didn't feel like it was too rushed. I definitely felt like I missed out on some good side story and some good side quests. I really did, because I felt like the characters are pretty compelling and they did a better job with mocap and all that. To me, I'm telling you, it was 3 or 4 times you're setting up my expectations and then rug pulling and being like, this is really what's happening. It's like that Russian doll. It's like, how many times are you going to do this before I get to what's really happening? It didn't feel like I was sleuthing a mystery. It felt like I was being misled. Does that make sense? It didn't ruin the story for me. It just created this skepticism of like, well, I don't really think that's what's going on. Is she really the good guy? Probably not. Is she really the bad guy? Well, probably not. Is this really what's happening? Well, probably not. Like, it just creates this skepticism about the story. So you don't get invested because you're like, well, this is all probably a fake out. I do think back to the twists aren't as big of a deal if you're exploring side content and getting a better feel for the entire world. I will admit that maybe because I played more linearly, I felt the twists happened too close together. I'll grant that as pushback. Like, listen, Lono, if you would have played Horizon Forbidden West more completionist, those twists would have been more spread out. They felt like they happened in close proximity to each other because you just did the main story. Okay, that's fine. I'll grant that point. But my retort would be, a ton of people are going to play that way, and if your main story has main turning points and main hinges, and that's a narrative mechanic that you keep using, it's going to lose its potency. It's just like comedy. If Kramer busts in the door too many times, if Kramer shows up too often, he loses his potency. You could never do a show just about him. You could never do a show just about George. Well, unless you call it Curb Your Enthusiasm and you surround Larry David with an amazing cast. Outside of that, right? But you couldn't have just done a show about Elaine, even though Julia Louis-Dreyfus is beautiful and talented, and Veep was hilarious, and I'm excited to see her get maybe more footing in Marvel. But I don't think you could have done a show just about Elaine. I don't know. I just felt like they did it too many times. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I take half a point away. I didn't even take that many points off. I just took half a point away. I thought, I think this story could have been a little bit better at the end. I thought everything with Gaia was brilliant. Everything with your twin or whatever was brilliant. I thought so much of that was so well done. Great voice acting, great writing, really, really good depth. There's so much behind what you initially think this game is about, right? Why do you hate me? I don't know. That's the second day you've come in and asked me that. I don't know why you're saying that. So I knew that lady who took you to her mansion had a side objective, but just wanted you to eliminate the peers. Sure, Christopher. But see, that's the thing, is you either start to see through the veil and you're like, I know what's going on, or you just doubt everything, right? You're like, I don't think any of this is real. You're all faking me out. Again, I don't want to overstate it. I didn't even really include that in my show open, in my monologue. I'm more focused on the issues with combat because I took a whole point off for combat. I felt like the vanilla version of this game, they made significant mistakes. I didn't think that the combat felt very good at all in the vanilla state. They made changes, they made adjustments, and it did feel better last night when I played. I was like, okay, this is better. Maybe I might even say it was much better, but it's been a long time. Right? That old buddy lost his crap on the plane. Oh yeah, that man came straight unglued. If Gillian Anderson is in it, it'll be perfect. I'll die on that hill. Oh yeah, she's absolutely phenomenal. She's so good. Gillian Anderson is probably one of the most talented actresses alive right now, I think. If you watch her in X-Files, and then you watch her in Hannibal, and then you watch her in The Crown, and she has got range. Put her in everything, please. Right? Obviously, everybody, I had a huge crush on her as a kid, and she's aging like a fine wine. But she is so talented. My gosh. She's got range, dude. Put her in everything. Biggest criticism of the game from a lot of people is the story. I thought it was fine. She was my crush for the entire late 90s. She had a good run. All the voice actors are stellar. I hope they all got paid well because they did so much. Happy to see so much of chat see what I see. Devs always assume people will play to complete more times than not. They did do a show with her. I think they're trying to aren't they trying to reboot Gal is Mad Now? Oh, Gal is fine. She can't slip from the throne. She's fantastic in the Netflix. Yeah, I heard she was good in that as well. If the main story doesn't have enough pacing in between the twists, then it's poorly done, says Drufus. Just go to the side con to make the main twist better paced out. Yeah, I don't think that's a proper pushback. Yeah. I don't think it's a proper pushback. What's Cup of Noodle doing? Isn't that Cup of Noodles? I've got Discord muted. What's she doing? Oh. The knee, the feet. That's hilarious. The combat's just flat to me. What are your impressions about combat? What didn't you like? In the vanilla version of Horizon Forbidden West, I felt that the combat was very spammy and very stun-locky. I was stun-locked a lot, and people will tell you I hate being stun-locked. Stun-locked is when you get stunned, knocked back, knocked down, and then you go to get back up again, and they hit you again. Like, you can't get out of the cycle, right? And for me, that was a really, really frustrating element of the game. So much so that they actually listened to feedback. Not just me, but a lot of people brought that up, and now they limit how long you stay on the ground. You don't stay on the ground nearly as long. So in the vanilla state of the game, my impression of the combat is one that they basically answered. Public service announcement. Good to see you over here on the Kick. If you guys are watching on Kick, make sure you're following the channel. Consider becoming a member. And I played a little bit of the combat last night. I didn't dive into the DLC, but I played a little bit of the combat last night just to kind of brush up. And I did feel like it was quite a bit better. Like when I got knocked down, it didn't seem like it lasted nearly as long. I was able to kind of get back up, and it's still a pretty spammy game. I still think that the enemies spam quite a bit. But I think it's a little less annoying when you're not getting stun locked. It should have had more of that around the map. It just opens up and becomes diluted after the summit. I don't want it becomes diluted. There's so much on the map. There's so many enemies. I had the advantage of not playing Horizon Forbidden West until they patched the combat. I played on normal difficulty and only got bonked when I was standing around like a goober. The vanilla version doesn't matter. Well, it matters to me because that's what I experienced and that's what I reviewed. Like, you know what I'm saying? I literally got all the way to the end before they patched that. So my entire experience, 38 levels, I think I was level 37. 37 levels and I don't know how many hours. And my experience was kind of irritating. The elephants, their ranged weapons are nasty. Yeah, the elephants can be a little triggering, but you just have to kind of keep circling them, and it kind of works out. Bristol says, I think everybody forgot how great it is to gift memberships. Bristol's trying to get that gifted membership. I also agree. Also, the lack of parry and defense mechanic kind of hurt the game, but I still loved it. Yeah, the melee combat is probably the weakest part. There's really cool things you can do with melee, but I think they probably could have done a little bit more, right? They could have done a little bit more. They could have given you more opportunities to block or parry instead of just kind of spam, you know. But I do like using melee. Whenever somebody gets up on you, you kind of roll out of the way. I have that thing where I swing and you wait and it goes shink and it like lights up and then you go wham 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 wham, like you get like this massive attack on them. The baboons were the worst. That was the point in the game where I got the most frustrated with the every enemy has to have a range attack. It was the baboons. I was like, come on. Because they wanted me to shoot off their tail or something. I forget what I was doing. And they were so irritating. I was like, come on. I felt like the baboons was like a breaking point for me. I was like, dude, every enemy doesn't need to spam me with a range attack, bro. It's not necessary. I was like so tilted. I'm pointing out that you having to play it immediately on release and plow straight through colored your perception. Also, the melee is bad. Well, I don't know if it colored my perception. Are we going to say that about Redfall? Like, Redfall is going to launch without 30 FPS. If they patch that in a month or two later, and someone's like, yeah, but your initial review was before they patched it. Well, okay, I played the launch version of the game. That's an important, thing to remember. I dove in right at the beginning and, they had some issues. They had pop-in issues. They had some performance issues. Now, they did patch the graphical stuff in Horizon Forbidden West fairly quickly, right? I've seen some people trying to rewrite history, and they're trying to claim that, like, Returnal and Horizon Forbidden West were in terrible shape when they launched, which is just simply not true. It just simply is not true. They were not in bad shape. There was one glitch in Returnal. If you wore there was like DLC armor or something, and if you wore that DLC armor, it created problems. It created some kind of a glitch or some kind of a bug, and that was it. And in Horizon Forbidden West, there were some pop-in issues. There were some graphical performance issues, but they were very quickly resolved. The baboons sucked, although the stalkers have always been my most annoying enemy. Random stealth darts coming out of nowhere was some BS. I don't remember that. I've not touched the game in a long time, says Face, but I seem to remember making quite a powerful melee build. Not the best, but serviceable. Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt that I didn't feel the melee was good enough, right? I didn't feel like the melee was good enough to invest in the skill tree. I didn't. Not to switch the subject, but I hear rumors of a Days Gone 2. Please let this be true. I don't know why they wouldn't. It suits their formula, and people want to act like that's the only games that PlayStation makes. Look at the sales charts and shut the frick up, okay? Days Gone 2 would just make sense. It suits the PlayStation audience and formula, and the first game is great. Once it got the bugs patched, it launched. They shot that game in the foot, right? They shot that game in the foot because once it was patched and then was on PS Plus, everybody was like, "This game is amazing." And then once it ended up on PC, people are like, "This game is amazing. What in the world? Why did this game do so poorly?" Melee seems to have gotten some love this DLC based on some of the footage I've seen, says Eugene. Did anyone else have the ladder glitch in the cauldrons where you kept slipping down? That was a recurring error that really bugged me. I don't remember that happening to me. The shield generator armor is in the first Horizon Zero Dawn game. I remember getting that one early, and all throughout I was OP in the entire game. Yeah, I didn't have that. I never went and got that. Days Gone was a letdown, and it still sold 8 million. Days Gone was so good, and it was a great setup for the sequel. Do you want to know what my favorite thing about Days Gone is? The faces. I'm serious. The emotion capture of the faces in that game were just unbelievable. They make real faces in that game. They look incredible. Trill Troll with 10 months. How dare you not read my last 2 comments, Lono? The amount of disrespect here can't go unpunished. So here's my 10-month renewal in 30 FPS. What did I miss, Trill? Come on, man. Everybody's talking. Just like in real life. You might only see one time in your entire playthrough, or you might see them interwoven in separate side quests. It really shows how complex and intricate all the systems are. The motion cap, automation, and voice acting for all the side characters and side quests is actually remarkable when you think about it. The amount of detail that they put into certain characters. Right, I'll actually agree with that, Trill Troll, because it is a lot of the automation. It is. They did a lot of automated facial work for this game because there's so many NPCs and so many conversations, and they certainly upgraded from the first game because the faces in Horizon Zero Dawn were pretty bad. Well, they weren't bad, I should say. The faces looked amazing. The animation was pretty bad. The animation was like flat mannequin. Say what y'all want about Melee, but it's way better than the first, and Days Gone was not a letdown. It was a very good game. I think what Eugene was saying was Days Gone was a letdown at launch, and it still sold 8 million. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Days Gone had a bad launch, bro. It was buggy. It got treated mercilessly by the reviews. Like, if you look up Days Gone Metacritic. If you look up the Days Gone Metacritic, it's not very good. 71. And it got an 8.4 from the users because over time, it's gotten better treatment. Now, then you go look at Days Gone PC, 76. That's from the reviewers, right? That's not from the community. Hang on. 8.9. 8.9 from the community on Metacritic for the PC version. Like, they basically turned the game around, is what they did by the time it came out on, the PS5, the PS5, and well, and the upgrades, or not. I'm sorry, not the PS5, the PC. Are you doing a second show? Yes, we will be switching to gameplay. We will be playing Horizon Forbidden West gameplay at some point. Horizon Forbidden West was clunky, low impact combat, and the game feels more like a chore than a game. Listen, not every game's combat's going to hook people. It's just not. I actually really, really prefer the combat in Ghost of Tsushima. Pony here, Days Gone for me is a masterpiece, but Sony is to blame for the buggy launch. Played it on Steam, it was great, says Jake. Death Stranding got review bombed for some reason, too, didn't it? Death Stranding? I don't remember what happened with Death Stranding. Days Gone has long legs, slow launch, but I feel like a lot of people found the game a few years later. It wasn't the bugs in Days Gone. Reviewers had weird problems with the story and how much of a strong man the main character was. But that's not true. There was only like one reviewer that said, oh, we have another gruff, white male lead. Like, I don't know. Heaven forbid they make a game because their target audience likes to play as those types of characters. Like, imagine going to the Japanese market and being like, I can't believe all the lead characters look like this. It's like, that's the market, bro. Have you ever looked at the statistics of, how many dudes are buying these games in comparison? Like, yes, globally, there's a nice even split between men and women gaming, but as soon as you take mobile off the table, men still make up a large portion of those purchases. They're just knowing their audience, right? Like, and then you also have great games like Horizon Forbidden West and Returnal. Like, it's like, that's just such a stupid criticism of Days Gone. It's like, oh, so we have to avoid that trope. So then what, should we artificially, every time a game comes out, make sure it's the least like that as possible? Right? Strong white dude character is a bit of a trope and a cliche. Sure. But that doesn't mean you create a new cliche, which is run as far away from that as you can every time a game comes out. Just make a great game with great characters. Like, that. Who cares what they look like? People getting angry about silly stuff, like the fact that, like, I saw people getting mad about what Aloy's wearing. I'm like, what? Just people are always trying to virtue signal about something. Gameplay doesn't work. I need something I can listen to as I have interacted with real people. Can you do JS going to Netflix for 2 hours instead? What? Can you do Joseph Staten going to Netflix instead? No. Every PlayStation game has gotten review bombed pretty much. I remember The Last of Us 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Ragnarok getting review bombed by some trolls. However, I don't think they impacted their overall Metacritic. Well, I think Metacritic goes back and cleans up those scores, don't they? I love the exposure and topics on this channel. I learned so much about games. The community is open and active. There's always fact-based discussions. Also, I'm obsessed with Reforge Coffee. Hey, good to see you, Goddess. Sorry to not be streaming on the Tickety Talk. I know you were liking watching over there, and you were helping mod, and you were just being generally awesome. It just became such a headache to try to stream over there. It's all this extra work for just really, really poor performance. So I just kind of put a stop to it, at least for now. Obviously I'd like to get back over there. I might just start using my phone again, honestly. Just for the exposure. Streaming through the app, I was streaming to 2 people. I don't know what was going on. I've seen journalists complain about not enough diversity in Final Fantasy 16. Right, and I just think that you never go full. Never go full, okay? This is what going full looks like. It's basically taking a good thing and turning it into an ultimate thing. You're taking a good thing and you're making it an ultimate rule, right? And this is what it looks like. When people say something as stupid as the FTC should force From Software to put in easy mode, they're being discriminatory, okay? You've gone full. Accessibility things are good. Adding accessibility features to games is a good thing. You've elevated it to an ultimate thing, and it's making you talk dumb. It's making you talk stupid. All right? Having better representation in video games, so not every single game is big, strong white man growling at the bad guy, okay? Sure, that's a good thing. But if you raise it to an ultimate thing, then you're going to look at any game that has a dude as its lead, and you're just going to presume that it's bad. Bad. Stupid. Not diverse enough. You've gone full. And when you go full, you tend to ignore the improvements that we have now. One of the most iconic franchises for PlayStation is a redhead woman. Like, that's great. You wouldn't have seen that super long time ago, right? And she certainly isn't set up like some supermodel running around in a string bikini, right? I was actually kind of surprised some of her outfits show a whole lot more of her. I was kind of surprised they did that. That was never really the focus in the first game, but it's never really done in like an objectification kind of way. So celebrate, Returnal. Celebrate Horizon. You've got a lot of games out here that have really, I think, embraced the idea of like, yeah, we can kind of break from the norm. But that doesn't mean if something kind of lands in that lane, it's immediately bad. Just go Stray's route. Who needs a human lead anyway? That's right. That's right. The Irish needs representatives in this convo. Well, there are... I was going to say something really offensive to the Irish. But I won't. Some blogs claiming that Horizon Forbidden West tribes were just culture appropriation and disrespectful. Well, those people need to research and play the game, and I don't know, read a book. Patrick with 9 months. Love hearing the parable of Simple Jack. Never go full, chat. That's right. Never go full. Stories and art should be based on the artist's vision. It's like people complain, but there are no men on Wonder Woman's home island. Right, because it wouldn't make any sense, because that's the vision for her story and her backstory. Exactly. Tomb Raider was a thing. Tomb Raider was a thing, but the thing to remember is, historically speaking, anytime women showed, not anytime, a lot of the time, women showed up in video games, it was in sort of a tropey way, right? It was in sort of a tropey way. They were super busty, teeny tiny waist, barely any clothing. So yes, Tomb Raider was a thing, but Tomb Raider kind of went through this phase where it's like, is she getting ready to film a scene for Baywatch, or is she a Tomb Raider? Like, what's going on here? Can she stand? How can she stand, right? How is she not tipping over? It was absurd. The newest version of Tomb Raider, I think, did a really, really good thing with making her look awesome, strong, athletic, and not, hey, I just walked off the set of Baywatch. I'm ready to go, raid some tombs, right? So, yeah, Samus Aran, sure, but she's in a suit, and you didn't even really know it. A lot of people didn't know that Samus Aran was a woman. So, there were some tropes, there were some cliches, there were some stereotypes that people have pushed against. I think that's a good thing. When you take it into the ultimate category, you start to say stupid things. You just start to say dumb stuff. Yeah, or they were just damsels needing help. That's right. And it's good to push against those tropes. Listen, you can push against those tropes just because you want better storytelling. Like, I've played this game before, bro. Big, strong man rescues weak woman. Like, I've played that game many, many times, okay? Cool, been there, done that, right? I've also played The Chosen One. I've played that many, many times. Oh, yeah, this is the rookie, this guy, and then you have to interact with the cocky guy who doesn't like the new guy, and you're the new guy who seemingly is really gifted or better or stronger or at whatever the frick's going on. And then there's always the woman who, immediately likes you. I've played that game before. So it's totally fine to push against those tropes and those stereotypes, and you don't have to be doing it because you're woke. It's just, hey, could we get some different story elements? Could we get some different character arcs? I've played this game before. But when you go full, then Aloy's culturally appropriating, I guess cultures that wear plastic armor from robot dinosaurs. I don't know where those cultures are. And Days Gone's not a good game because it's just another strong white male lead. You're going full. Those aren't valid criticisms. Those are people going too far with something that's good. Performance mode on Burning Shores looks horrible to me. Too much aliasing. Balanced is 40 FPS. Where's next gen? What are you talking about? I played last night on my television. It looked amazing. I played last night on performance on my television. I don't even know what TV I have anymore. It's some crazy Samsung. Yeah, don't forget about Jesse from Control. Yes. Control is one of the most slept on games out there. If you have not played Control, you need to play it. It's an amazing game. Remember in God of War where Kratos got health for rocking the 4-post bed, or GTA? Can't forget those. That's not going to happen in Tomb Raider, Jakku. Quit saying stupid stuff. To be fair, Aloy in Horizon Forbidden West was really unlikable compared to Horizon Zero Dawn, and she didn't really show much love and compassion. But isn't it... what do you mean though? Was Kratos likable in the first God of War? Gruff, grumpy, dismissive, unkind, snapping and losing his temper at his son? It's good to have characters that are flawed, they have idiosyncrasies. Like she's a loner. She's out on her own. She's always been gruff with people. She's always had a chip on her shoulder. That's Aloy's character. I think Ashley Birch did a really great job bringing that out in a character that was sort of an outcast, mistreated. You know, if anybody shows her kindness, she's always like, I think she's a little standoffish, a little aloof. She's not really sure if, if this person actually is being nice. Everybody thinks she's hot. Like in the first game, like everybody's hitting on her. And then in the second game, it's not quite as extreme. Aloy was an outcast and treated terribly by people. She's not going to be a social butterfly. Right, I think that's good. I think that's totally fine. That's what the reviewers say. There was nothing wrong with Aloy in Forbidden West. Yeah, she was exactly what I would expect her to be. I liked her in Forbidden West. Now, I actually kind of thought, I think this is an interesting thing to talk about. I actually thought Aloy got outshined in Forbidden West. I thought Varl and Gaia and the dude who lost his arm, what's his name? And Aaron, I thought they honestly kind of stole some of the scenes. I felt like they were a little bit better because Aloy, again, is just kind of, she's a little bit more flat and muted, and she's not quite as strong, She came into her own more throughout the game, but I actually liked the other characters more. It's not that I disliked her, I just liked the other characters more. She has more important crap to worry about than being friendly to you. Yeah, she's trying to save the crops and save people. She's not really worried about pleasantries. Aloy's an awesome character. I liked her character from the very beginning. Yeah, I don't dislike her. I think I just like some of the other characters more. I just think they're a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit more interesting. I think maybe that's because you learn so much about Aloy in the first game. In the second game, it's more about just sort of continuing her journey as the hero, and they don't have as much to do with their character. They don't have as much to move. The needle can't move as much, so some of the newer characters I found more interesting. My favorite character is old boy that lost his arm. I think he's awesome. I think he's the best character in the game. Lono was hitting on her in the VR call The Mountain. I was trying to look at her hair, and I didn't realize that, I was, getting up in her face. I was, trying to look at her hair, because I remember in the photo mode being super impressed by, single strands of hair and, little beads of sweat and, the detail in her eyes. I was like, this is crazy. And then in the VR, I wanted to see, did they maintain the fidelity? She's super short. I didn't realize how short she was. As a short person, I was kind of like, oh, okay. I see you down there with the rest of us. She never went to a birthday party in her life, nor did she ever have one. I'd let the machines just eat everyone. Cortalo. Oh, Kotalo. Yeah. Kotalo. Yeah, I love that. I loved going and getting an arm for him. I thought that was super sick. Just getting here. The only thing I didn't like about Horizon Forbidden West was the hints that they were giving out without letting the player figure it out. Yeah, they did similar things in God of War Ragnarok, and I just don't know why they do it. I don't know why they decide to do that. I've never quite understood why they go so hard with the hints. I've always found that to be a bit strange, VIP chat. Yeah, you guys should be getting access to a new chat if you do the VIP. There's a VIP command if you guys are interested. It was Zubair's idea, and we'll see what comes of it. All right, hang on. We are going to be diving into the gameplay shortly, not just yet, having a good conversation about all the different things in the game, the character, the combat, the story. I actually found the story to be very enjoyable. I had minor criticisms. Again, I think some of my favorite stuff that they did was the conversations with Gaia. I was sort of going, I was sort of going into those conversations with Gaia, and I think chat was kind of shocked. They're like, wait, is he actually doing dialogue and listening to dialogue? And I was like, yep, I am. I enjoyed it very, very much. Let's do that. And we'll get this schedule. And great, amazing turnout today, guys. We had a huge batch of members, and if you haven't been able to dive in yet as a member, be sure to do that. Be sure to push the button, hit join, hit the $ at the bottom of the chat, and it's a great time to jump in as a member. If you got a gifted member today, you can get into our Discord. VIPs get access to the VIP lounge. And then you also, all of you get access to the buy two, get one free on the coffee. Unfortunately, I think a lot of you have already kind of purchased the coffee that you're going to buy for the month, which is totally fine. But we're trying to move through. It's like the last 100 bags of the holiday blend. So snag those while you can. And we really appreciate everybody who has done that and joined in. We shipped a bunch of stuff on Monday, so you guys should be getting that coffee fairly quickly. We live in a really good city, really good hub for shipping. I'm happy when we won't have to choose between quality or performance. I really thought that would be the case this gen, but nope. I actually don't think that that's a loss for us. Like, I don't think the fact that we have to choose between quality mode and performance mode, I really don't think that's bad. Oh, I need to cancel this. Oh, it's for an entire year? Oh, never mind. That's a good deal. The Nintendo Online thing is going to renew soon. It's like $35 for the whole year. I was considering canceling some of that stuff, but I actually think that's a pretty reasonable price. I hope 3060 choice turns into 6120 choice at some point. I mean, I don't know if that's where we're headed, if I'm honest. I really don't know if we're headed toward people being able to do 60 or 120. I don't. I think this generation, not this generation. Okay, Zuby, you're thinking like further down the line. Yeah, I don't think that's happening this generation. I don't. I think they overpromised a little bit. I think 120 is just not going to be very common. That's what blows my mind about the 30 FPS discussion. It blows my mind. It's like we were promised 120, 60 or 120, 60 standard up to 120, right? And now everybody's acting like expecting 60 is insane. You know what I mean? I do not get it, right? I don't. We're just going to ignore all the marketing. We're going to ignore everything we were told. You know, this generation was supposed to usher in just an amazing sense of upgrade and fidelity. I don't understand it at all. You shouldn't be accepting it. You should be 100% staring straight face at these companies and saying, you're not making good on your promises, right? You're not good on making your promises. Making good on your promises, I should say. Do we have an option for becoming a member for a few months or at least a year? They launched the ability for you to prepay for months at a time a while ago. I don't quite know how to do it because I've never done it myself. Sony really needs to get a better UI. FF Pixel Remaster is supposed to be a bundle, but I can't find the bundle, and it will only let me purchase everything individually. There's Sony's storefront, the search on there, it's all terrible. I'm telling you, it's all terrible. It really, truly is. This is MK Ice and Fire's footage. This is very, very early in the game. You're not gonna get any major spoilers. So I just the way that they have this working out with her as your companion, man, oh man, that would be awesome to have online multiplayer. I just can't get over that. I'm like looking at this thinking that would be so fun. Just like in Far Cry, just like let my wife Grab that second character and run around the world with me. I would absolutely love that. It would have to be online, obviously. You wouldn't be able to do it split screen. Eugene says, native 4K 30 is impressive. Don't let that fool you. But 1440-60 needs to be there. Yeah, I think 1440-60, I'm sorry. I think 1440-60 should be just a standard option. Who's the companion? It's a new character you're going to meet at the very beginning. It's not spoilers to show her because they showed her in one of the trailers. I was trying to get a good shot of both of them, but MK Ice and Fire is kind of just, doing their thing, playing the game. They're not worried about that. There she is, tucked down. See how like she's even sneaking around with you, fighting like you, moving like you. You know what I mean? Every game has multiplayer. Can't single-player games have anything? But what does that mean, Guy Smiley? Giving me the option to play the game with another player, what does that do to you? Does it hurt you knowing that I'm doing that? Like, what's the problem? Like, let's say that you really, really like Far Cry 6, or you really, really like Far Cry... I think they even introduced it in Far Cry 4 with Pagan Min. You really liked Far Cry 4, but then you learn that there's co-op and, like, I can play through the game with a partner. Does that hurt your experience at all? What's it do to you to know that I might do that? I might sit down in my living room, turn on 2 televisions, turn on 2 PS5s, and game with my wife. Like, what's the problem with that? I'm not saying turn it into a multiplayer game, but co-op is just an option. Yo, what's good, Hollow? Kickity kick over the tickety tock. Yeah, that's right. Building the game for multiplayer will cause the single player to be less capable. How do we know that? But how do we know that? Co-op games have to be rebalanced and always suck more single player? Okay, let's take an example. Can we think of a game where it didn't hurt it at all? Returnal. Right, Returnal is, I still think, Game of the year that it came out. It was truly a next-gen title. It was innovative. It was ambitious. It was creative. One of the best soundtracks. Top-notch voice acting. Phenomenal gameplay. And they added co-op later. It didn't hurt that game at all. In fact, the co-op needs some help because I'd love to play the co-op with my wife and get save points. I can play Returnal right now and get to like Biome 2 or 3 and be like, okay, well, I got a life. I've got like real world responsibilities. I want to save this and walk away. I can't do that when I play with my wife. Returnal's rebalanced for co-op? No, it's not. What, did they ever specify any balancing they did to co-op? As a general matter, why do we expect lesser graphics in multiplayer games? Usually you get lesser graphics in multiplayer games because PvP games want to give you the best frame rate and performance possible. So like in Uncharted 4, the multiplayer mode turned everything off so you could get 60 FPS and it looked like a different game. But that was because it's PvP. I like how Ghost of Tsushima did their multiplayer completely separate mode. Right, so you can do the Ghost of Tsushima way, you can do it the Returnal way. See, this is like the live services evil discussion. There's good ways to bring co-op and multiplayer to games without hurting the game. Do you see what I'm saying? There's good ways to do live service. Ghost of Tsushima is a great example of bringing multiplayer to a single-player game. Returnal's a great example of bringing co-op to a single-player game. I think you could do it with Horizon Forbidden West. I really do. I think you could. It wouldn't hurt it at all. 2 different consoles running the game, rendering everything. Listen. I'm not saying it's there, but I could definitely see them do it to test things out with the Decima engine to make sure it works well because they're building a Horizon multiplayer game. There's no balancing, says Eugene. It's inherently balanced because items are now split between 2 players. That's the brilliance of Returnal, is they didn't need to balance it. Yes, you get to split the aggro of the boss and the enemies, but you're sharing all the items. So it's the power of one person split into 2 bodies. It's just brilliant. Housemarque are geniuses. They're freaking geniuses. I just wish you could do the Tower of Sisyphus co-op. That would be really fun. That would make for some good Friday night streams with Madam. Hey, let's see how far we can get. Do you find co-op matches in Returnal, or do you have to invite people? I think you can do a public. Can't you do a public and have people join you? Probably not the best way to play that game because, you know, it's a tough game. Zubair says, then why haven't they done it? I mean, they did it to Returnal, so there's no way to know that if they continually won't do it. There's always the possibility that they decide to do it. Right? No Man's Sky eventually added multiplayer. So, and you can play that game together, build a base together, fly around the universe together. Cannot wait to see what Housemarque comes out with now that they have a bigger budget. Oh, buddy, I'm very excited. I honestly, I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it. Everybody's going to hate me. Everybody's going to throw rocks and stones at me, and I don't freaking care. I hope Housemarque makes a third-person action-adventure shooter. That's what I hope they make. That's what I hope they make. You take that crispy Returnal iframes. Oh my gosh. But give me open world action adventure RPG. Like, take Returnal, take like the premise of Returnal and rip it out of Rogue and do open world action RPG shooter. Maybe even make it a looter. Maybe make it a looter shooter. Third person action adventure looter shooter. Give me it. Oh my gosh. I would freaking love that. Everybody's like, no, don't do that. We have enough of those games already. Listen, man. If it works, it works. If it sells, it sells, right? You know? Throws rock. Who's throwing rocks? Throwing rocks. You want Housemarque to make another PS5 game? That's right. Sony bought them. Dave, he's making a joke. What's the agency Celine works for? Yeah, what's the company she works for? I forget. Imagine a third-person shooter similar to Borderlands and Destiny. I know, right? You could turn that into a game. Horizon could be a good multiplayer Monster Hunter type game, but keep it in the new standalone. Leave main alone. Well, let me argue for your position a little bit, Guy Smiley. Right? It has to be a bullet hell. Yeah, I think the enemies would still have to be bullet hell, Eugene, because I think the movement in the iframes feels so good because of the bullet hell. So let me argue in your corner, Guy Smiley. The reason I don't think they'll add multiplayer to Horizon Forbidden West is because when the Horizon multiplayer game got sort of like leaked by the job posting or whatever it was, they came out and basically said, we're gonna continue to add single player story experiences or whatever for Aloy, and then they're also going to be doing this multiplayer thing. They sort of like drew a dividing line. So it's Astra, that's right. So you're probably right. You're probably right. They probably won't do it. They probably see that dividing line and like, nope, we're going to leave Horizon single player and we're going to do the multiplayer thing later. However, it'd be a really great way to test some things out, to say, hey, you guys just added that DLC and there's a companion in there. What if we tested out some of this networking architecture, this online architecture, and introduce co-op? You know? Test some things out over there. And there's a possibility. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm just saying that's a road I could see them taking. Sony said they were going to go hard on live service, but I bet plans change after Kill the Justice League. I don't think so. No. Kill the Justice League specifically got criticized, not just because of the live service. It's because we waited 7 or 8 years for Rocksteady to make a new game, and that's not what people were expecting. I'll give you an analogy. when BioWare made Anthem, there were expectations of that game that came from BioWare's sort of background and history. And people, this is one of the few times I've disagreed with SkillUp. When SkillUp reviewed Anthem's story, he constantly judged it against BioWare RPGs. Well, they didn't make BioWare RPG, so that judgment's really unfair. It would be like if suddenly BioWare decided to create a battle royale, and you were like, the real detriments to this battle royale is the lack of all those RPG dialogue trees. It wouldn't make any sense, right? They chose to do an open world live service RPG. Now, the reason Anthem failed wasn't because it was live service. It was because they built the game in 18 months, and that wasn't enough time to give any depth or have any good cohesion of systems. That game was a disaster from moment one. It has nothing to do with it being live service. It was because pre-production and production were a joke. Bad leadership from top to bottom. So I don't think Sony's going to look at Kill the Justice League and say, yeah, we got to back away from live service. I don't agree with that. I think you're that's kind of a non sequitur. I don't think that logically follows. Like, well, Justice League got kicked to heckin' back because of live service elements. We better not do live service. One of the main problems with Kill the Justice League was people were like, it looks like a Fortnite mode. They're just all shooting guns. Right? They're all just shooting guns. That's not what I wanted. And live service is just a cherry on top of the criticism. Flying in Anthem was A+++. They forgot to make the rest of the game. Anthem to this day is the best Iron Man experience you can have. It still is. It still is. You can't play a game like that anywhere right now. Just flying around with the Ranger and like doing like that spin dodge and like the swooping and the diving and the speed and the landing and the slamming and the combos, they nailed it. They nailed it. That's what's so sad about that game is they got the core right. They really did. It's like, if you ever watch those shows like America's Got Talent and some guy comes out and he wows everybody with some kind of an act, like he's really good at a certain thing. Maybe it's like juggling, but he's not. It's unconventional juggling. He's doing all this stuff, and he gets through to the next round, but that's all he's really got. That's all he's got. He's kind of a one-trick pony. That's his core act, and it's enough to convince them to like, hey man, you're on to the next round. But then he gets to the next round and he just kind of does it again. That's kind of what Anthem was. It was like they nailed the core and they had nothing beyond that, which is what ticked everybody off. It's what ticked everybody off. It's like, you played Anthem for a couple of hours and you're like, this is fun. This is awesome. I want to do more of this. And then everybody walked away because it was like, there's nothing to do in the game. There's no end game. The day before, as a beta announced, the dev vows the game will return to Steam. Shut up. Shut up. No one cares about you anymore. The day before, the day forgotten. Just shut up. You don't have a game. Get out of the frame. No one cares about you anymore. Deliver a product or be quiet. Flying was good. Everything else was bland. No, I actually thought the combat was quite good. They just didn't do a good job of teaching people about the combos. Even if you go back and you watch SkillUp's review, he didn't understand the combat. That's no shade. I'm not throwing shade at SkillUp. I like Ralph. What I'm saying is that he literally plays the game and talks about the game as if it's a cover-based shooter. And he wasn't the only one. It was the devs' fault. The devs were literally... I remember I went to the capture event, and halfway through the capture event, I was like, wait, what? I'm supposed to be doing combos? And I started doing combos with the Colossus, and I was like, oh, this is a completely different game. This is a completely different game. Imagine making Kill the Justice League game and having the characters flying around and not making a Superman game. What were they thinking? But you can't make a I'm telling you, you're never going to make a compelling Superman game. You can't do it. Can't do it. He's too strong. You got to take him off-world and make him weak. And then it's not a Superman game. It's just a flying superhero game. Like, just make somebody else. Do Martian Manhunter. Do Iron Man. Like, what the heck? It makes sense I played it like that. It's probably why it felt bland to me. Yeah, you can't play Anthem like a shooter. Can't do it. Wait until the day before. That's right. Rocksteady originally wanted to make a Superman game. I played as a cover-based shooter. Yeah, if you played Anthem as a cover-based shooter, the game didn't make any sense. The game didn't make any sense. It was like, what am I doing? What's happening right now? Rocksteady would have done it, but WB wanted live service. I mean, you can see that WB wants live service because look what they're doing with Quidditch. I'm surprised that I didn't see it. I'm really surprised because they dropped all the hints in the game about Quidditch. It really seemed like, oh, they're going to add Quidditch later, right? But I'm surprised I didn't see it. It's like, oh no, they'll do Quidditch as a separate thing. Now, we threw that idea out there as like Ghost of Tsushima Legends was like a separate side thing. We thought maybe they might do that with Quidditch. But they did it as a total side live service game. Skins, you know, different developer. Looks like it's kind of made in the Fortnite engine. WB kind of wants to get in there. Which again makes me really wonder what their full plans are for Hogwarts Legacy. Like, what are their full plans for Hogwarts Legacy? Because they basically said they can't announce anything for Hogwarts Legacy until all the other versions are out. So until we get on the other side of July, until we get into August, I don't expect them to say anything because they have to get Xbox One and PS4 out the door, and then they have to get the Nintendo Switch out the door. Ghost of Tsushima Legends is mad underrated. I have continued to predict, I've continued to predict that Ghost of Tsushima Legends is them testing live service. I think they're going to make the next Ghost of Tsushima a live service game. It'll be like Valhalla. I don't think you will play as Jin. I think you will play as a ghost in training under Jin. He's going to be teaching people that want to take up the sword and fight the Mongols and go to new areas and take up the way of the ghost. That's what I think they're going to do. They were testing loot. They were testing leveling. They were testing live service. There's loot hierarchy. There's abilities. There's RPG elements. There's live service elements to Legends. I think that's what they were testing. That's been my theory for a while with Ghost of Tsushima. If they just do a sequel and I just do more Ghost of Tsushima greatness with Jin, I will be totally happy with that. But Sony wants live service games. So they could certainly do, he's going to rebuild Clan Sakai. Right. Now, they could certainly do a Ghost sequel, and then they could do a completely separate live service Ghost game, kind of like what I'm talking about, or just more Legends. They could also do that. Right? They could also do that. Certainly. It's just a matter of what their true motivations are. I believe that you could make a good Superman game. These developers are just lazy. Superman's challenge is protecting the people from harm while fighting insanely world-ending opponents. I'm telling you, Plo617, it's hard to make a Superman movie, and it's going to be even harder to make a Superman game. Because I think people are going to be way more critical and way more apt to shoot down a Superman game or to say a Superman game is unenjoyable. I really do think that. I do. I think it would always kind of struggle to a certain degree. Jin's story is over. It would make sense to him being the master. Yeah, it would make way more sense for him to become kind of like a sensei and to lead a new group. Days Gone 2 should have happened. Sony Bend is up to something, but what? We'll find out Monday. It looks like they're going to have an announcement Monday. I don't know why they would have tweeted that if there won't be a formal announcement on Monday. Superman game would be difficult to execute. Every power that Superman has Like, how do you make that compelling in a video game? How? I don't know how you make that compelling in a video game. You can't hurt him. Okay. So you'd have to give everybody what? Low level kryptonite guns? Oh, come on. Well, Lex Luthor arms all of Metropolis with you know, kryptonite guns? Come on. He's weak to magic. He's weak to kryptonite. You can definitely make a Superman video game. You just have to make him the bad guy. I think a Green Lantern game or a Martian... I think a Green Lantern game would be easier to sell than a Martian Manhunter game. A Green Lantern game would make more sense. Because he has all the different abilities. You could have different skill trees. You could have defensive Green Lantern abilities, offensive, summonable stuff, right? When he puts like a turret down. You could do a lot of really fun things, I think, with Green Lantern. More than Superman. I love Superman. I do. Superman's actually my favorite superhero. I know. I have reasons for it, but I don't want a Superman game. I love Superman. I do. I don't think it would make for a very good game. I loved Man of Steel. I loved Henry Cavill. I have a low-key, pretty strong crush on him. But, you know, I don't think it makes for a good video game. A Superman game can be made now. We have the tech. What happened to the Wonder Woman game? We haven't seen anything about it since, so maybe we'll see something this summer. Go with the trope of losing all your powers and slowly bringing them back. I mean, yeah, you'd have to almost do like the teenage years, I guess, where he's slowly stumbling his way through, learning how to fly, learning how to do different things, you know? I hated Man of Steel. I've grown to accept that it exists. Man of Steel is the best Superman movie ever made. You'll never convince me otherwise. The Hans Zimmer soundtrack, the nonlinear storytelling, Henry Cavill, frickin' just immaculate. They frickin' ruined it. Stupid Batman versus Superman. So dumb. Yeah, Creature's like, no, that's lame. I'm Superman, but I can't do anything Superman does. That's lame. That's right. Yeah, then you're not Superman. If you did like the teenage years where like he's slowly getting stronger and slowly figuring out his powers, sure, maybe. Yeah, Michael Shannon as Zod was such a great casting. I love Michael Shannon. If you haven't seen him in Take Shelter, it's really, really good. He is phenomenal. I fell in love with him in Boardwalk Empire. I was like, this guy is fantastic. Yeah, Smallville, the game. Henry Cavill and Henry Cavill. I mean, Amy Adams is in there, and I mean, how can you not love her? You know, how can you not love Amy Adams? Teenage years, no thanks. That's the thing. You would have to wrestle a Superman game to the ground. And once you wrestle the Superman game to the ground, it's not a Superman game anymore. It just isn't. You're no longer. This is now the opening. This is now the opening of the game. We're going to be getting in there in just a moment. What's the point of a Superman game if you can't fully experience the power of Superman? I mean, I guess maybe somebody would say is like, oh, well, you get to the point where you're fully powered Superman at the end. I don't know. Sandra Bullock's the best actress to ever not play Lois Lane. Superboy game is a better option since he's not as strong. This is very much that's not my Superman. He's weak to magic. Don't you remember the hierarchy of the power in the DCEU changed? Kappa. Shut up. Shut up. Before Kal-El became one of the founders of the Justice League, he very first super team during the teenage years was from a group of gifted kids, 31st century, called Legion of Superheroes. None of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters. All right, here's what we're gonna do. People are gonna do this thing where they're like, "Hey, man, I don't want spoilers." Look, I'm only gonna play Burning Shores for probably about an hour just to show it off, to sample it, to show people what it looks like. It'll make for a great demo of gameplay on the channel, and then I'll probably hang out with members afterwards. So stick around, maybe turn the volume down. We're going to shift gears to gameplay. At the very least, come watch gameplay for like 15 minutes. Smash the like button, help that stream out, help it get off to a great start. I'm going to quickly run upstairs and use the restroom. We are 9 subs away from 125. If you guys want to push that envelope, bring more people with us. Yes. That's kind of the plan for the rest of the day. Give me just a brief moment. I'll be right back. Holy moly, I walked away and my man Mayhem drops a 20 bomb on the chat, taking us to 136, rolling to the next goal. Jiminy Christmas. Thank you guys so much. The other Mayhem dropped a 20 when you walked away. Thank you, Victor. You guys that are watching on Kick, you're going to have to head to YouTube because I can't monitor Kick whenever I stream a game, and I don't want to. So I'm going to shut down the Kick stream, go over to YouTube, Reforge Gaming. There'll be a new stream for gameplay. Okay. All right, and then I'll give you guys a link. We'll do the whole redirect thing. Give me just a second to get that all set. Just give me just a brief second to get that all set. It'll be the featured video on the channel as well. So that way. Hyperlight Breaker. Yeah, Hyperlight Drifter was really, really good. I'm looking forward to Hyperlight Breaker. It's really interesting to see a company completely change genres like that. I thought that was really interesting. I really did. I thought that was really interesting that they just completely switched to be like, oh, no, yeah, third person, melee based. Kick's the redheaded stepchild. Listen, man, Kick's just going to take a while to get going. We had close to 20 viewers over there. Once we start seeing close to 100 viewers over there, we can start, doing member goals and incentives and stuff over there. But we just kind of need to grow it. When Star Wars coming out? Star Wars coming out next week, I think on Friday. Okay. Horizon. We'll just do this. Burning Shores gameplay. Live. Will it fit across there? Horizon. Forbidden West, Burning Shores gameplay. Yes, it does fit. These stinking video game names are getting so long. Okay. Do. Retweet. All right. We're going to do a redirect. Guys, do me a favor. Head over to the new stream and please smash the like button. Whenever we do a second stream and we redirect, all you lurkers, you guys leave me hanging and you come over, but you don't smash the like button. I'm going to need your likes on this new stream. I'm going to need your likes because the video will get treated poorly if a bunch of people pile in the door and don't hit the like button. It really does affect us. All right, I'm going to turn the music down because I'm going to be switching inputs here. Oh, okay. There we go. So I will redirect you. If redirect doesn't work, you can go to my YouTube channel. It'll be the featured video, okay? It'll be the featured video. And you can head over with the link in chat if you prefer that, all right? And make sure and smash the like button on the way out on this video. We only need 40 more likes for 500, so smash the like on the way out on this video. Head to the new video. Again, if you're worried about spoilers, come on, hang out for 20 minutes. You're not going to see anything major in the first 20 minutes, all right? Thank you so much for checking out another video here on Reforge Gaming, diving into Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores gameplay. You do have to beat the main campaign, the final mission called Singularity, before diving in. Thank you, Skin Tight Salmon, for a brand new membership, pushing the member goal a little bit higher. We will be having that member goal throughout the stream. It's a great way to get involved and see my extra content. I may even be playing Horizon Forbidden West on Friday night with my wife. You can do this funny... Each person has a controller, and you can both control Aloy. It might be pretty funny, pretty entertaining. So make sure if you're a member to be on the lookout for that. I'm going to end my previous stream where I talked about how I feel like this is more than just a DLC.